tigil, tigil. UNY, one big fight. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan.
Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek Chola Sediaren as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munchin' with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Nasistress ka na ba? Nagpapanik o natatakot dahil sa COVID-19? Normal lang ang ganitong mga reaksyon sa ngayon. Pero may magagawa ka para mapagtagumpayan ang sitwasyon na ito. Ituloy lang ang pangangamusta sa mga kamag-anak at kaibigan gamit ang text, tawag o video. Tiyakin na ang mga bata ay ligtas at nasa maayos na kalagayan. Gawin sa bahay ang mga nakasanayan upang hindi mabagot o mabalisa sa panahong ito. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle. Are you feeling sore? We can make that better. Tune in to the Ateneo Senior High School's first radio program, SOAR, the Seniors On Air Radio, where you can listen to music you want, straight from our playlists. Don't change that channel yet, because SOAR is ready to put the you in youth. SOAR, Seniors On Air, here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. The Jesuit Hour.
Wait, what? No! Let's try that again. Join the fun bunch of the Hugot Hour with Father J-Boy as we talk about anything and everything under the sun. Share your everyday Hugot moments and everyday Hugot quotes. G, tara na! Usap tayo. Bring your own baon, bring your own Hugot. The Hugot Hour with Father J-Boy and friends gathers every Monday at 6:30 to 8 in the evening. Only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpa at tama. Buhay atenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero, sugo. Todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong.
Mga katipuneros, it's time to level up! Your talk variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields. As we feature the most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. Together with multi-awarded multimedia guru Mr. Noel Ferrer, let's all level up every Fridays from 3 to 6 p.m. here on radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM.
Okay, all good already, all the best. Today we shall have rare and special interviews with icons. Truth be told, okay, the first hour would have been an interview, a surprise interview with Kabayan Noli de Castro telling us something new. So we'll wait for him on the phone. But in the second hour, we'll have Miss Universe, comebacking Miss Universe. It's a welcome back and a pre-birthday celebration of Pia Wurtzbach. And to talk about her advocacies as well, yun na nga, para siyang OFW at nasa long-distance relationship eventually. But what's important is that eventually also, we want to engage this next person I'm about to interview now because in a few weeks, we'll be having the filing of candidacy of people who are running for public office in the May 2022 election. So, dito na namin pag-usapan yung concept that we're having a Katipunan Town Hall and we want to engage the School of Government of the Ateneo to be part of it para mas masusi pa nating masusuri yung mga tatakbo sa election. But I've seen him in a lot of interviews and I'm just proud that there's such an office and there's such a person trying to champion a cause as an alternative voice. The voice of clarity, at least, in all the noise, to sift through the noise. And now, I'm proud to interview and to introduce to everyone Dean Ronald Mendoza of the School of Government. Hello, good afternoon, Ron.
Magandang hapon, Noel. Magandang hapon sa lahat ng nakikinig.
Magandang hapon. Ron, as we speak now, merong Senate investigation na naman involving a lot of people about the corruption charges dito sa gitna ng pandemya. How do you make sense in all these? You think people are just so parang overwhelmed now with all the issues? Now we have yesterday we had the highest number of cases of COVID, tapos papatungan pa ng corruption issues and investigations sa Congress. And now, meron pang usap tungkol sa politika. So, susun at layers and layers ng ang daming issues. Paano tinatanggap yan ng mga tao, Ron?
Well, I actually I'm studying that. That's my main focus of research right now, or at least with the team that I'm working with. We're studying opinions. Essentially, This is opinion research. And we're also looking at fielding our own surveys in order to learn more about how people are thinking, feeling right now. Ang teorya kasi namin dyan, Noel, ang tingin namin, oversimplistic na mag-field ka ng survey tapos i-interpret mo lang yung survey on face value. Kailangan maintindihan natin yung pinanggagalingan ng sumasagot, yung impormasyon na access nung sumasagot. Kasi baka naman puro fake news yung nakikita niya.
Correct. Yung konteksto, di ba? Tapos tama nga, yung sa fake news, no? Parang, how can people sift through it? And we're really prone, di ba, to even share
Exactly.
Fake news. So, exactly. Paano yung behavior ngayon ng mga tao?
Yes. And in fact, lahat tayo, alam naman natin to from research from other countries. We are in our little bubbles, in our social media bubbles, dahil hindi tayo nakakalabas or marami sa atin hindi nakakalabas. Hindi naman natin nakakausap yung mga iba-ibang mga dati nating kausap. At nakikita lang natin yung mga nasa grupo natin dun sa algorithm based on social media. So parang malakas yung nakikita natin pero baka naman yun lang yung sound or voices coming from our circles, right? Okay. So we get the wrong impression thinking that that's what is out there. So rather than take that on face value, we're trying to do more opinion research to try and figure out a better answer to your question, which is how are people feeling, thinking right now in the midst of all these challenges? And we have to believe based on hard cold statistics that many people are in hardship hirap na ang taong bayan ngayon. Maraming milyon ang nawalan ng trabaho, milyon ang nagugutom based on the hunger surveys of SWS, at milyon na bata ang hindi pa nakakapasok, meaning we have actually we're one of the countries with the longest periods in which hindi nakabalik sa eskwelahan ng mga bata.
Yes.
And we are the country in the world with the longest lockdown.
Yes.
So, yan ang nangyayari ngayon, at dahil hindi nakakatulong yung on again, off again lockdown na meron tayo ngayon, marami ring businesses ang nagsasara. So, maraming nawawalan ng trabaho. So, yan yung basic context.
So yun nga yung tanong ng mga tao. At least masisisi mo ba sila kung overwhelmed, di ba? Overwhelmed na hindi alam yung kung ano yung unahing mga issue, no? Pero buti na lang meron kayong panukat. Yun, kunyari, at least may susukatin nyo yan at may context na pag-aaralan eventually. But, well, I don't want it to be another Okta research group na eventually tatanungin kung saan nanggagaling yung funding, number one. Number two, yung motibo. Kasi nag-impute sila na ang daming layers of, di ba, parang meaning dun sa mga Okta research. How will your surveys and your studies be different?
That's a good question. Thank you, Noel, for asking that. Yung grupo namin actually is a consortium. We hope it will be at least the main backbone of the research, which will be focused on youth, will be based on a consortium of academic institutions. So ang target namin, 20 to 25 academic institutions or partner academics in vote-rich cities across the country. So yung model namin is a partnership model dahil alam naman nating lahat, hindi mura ang mag-field ng survey. At kailangan natin ng maraming partners kung yung main revenue basis hindi naman natin itatouch, which is kung hindi rin kami magpapakommission ng surveys from politicians.
Yes.
So nag-commit na kami na hindi kami magpapabayad sa politiko para mag-field ng surveys. Meaning, malaking chunk ng revenue, kailangan hanapin namin from something else, right?
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll cut costs with new technology, so hopefully online surveys, and also with more partners in the vote-rich cities para malaki yung scope at less yung cost. Tapos, nag-promise kami sa mga stakeholders na hindi kami kukuha ng kontrata sa mga politiko. So
very good. Pero mahirap yun, mahirap yun. Will you be depending on subscribers eventually?
We're experimenting now with different models, pero we're in talks with different people who want to support us actually. So I've been contacted by so many good friends, not just in Ateneo, but in the private sector, asking how they can help to fund us. So ang tingin ko, mahalaga tong usapan na to kasi meron ng public good consequence ang survey result.
Very good.
And it cannot be left unregulated into the hands of survey groups na sometimes kasi medyo may conflict of interest siguro yung nangyayari.
Correct.
Dahil binayaran sila ng politiko para mag-field ng survey.
Correct.
So, ako, ang feeling namin, let's focus on what we can do better rather than critique them. Perhaps they can contribute still to our democracy, which we hope they will. But for us, what we want to do is elevate the bar in terms of how we run our own opinion research group.
Galing, no? Parang mahabang proseso, pero at least may ganyang mga initiatives. Ron, how do you feel that earlier on, your studies, or at least maraming portions of your studies, sinasite na dun sa mga reports, and then Malacanang, well, through Harry Roque just said, well, it's Ateneo. You must have heard that, no? Na sinabi, it's an Ateneo study. Na meron ng pang dismiss as early as now. So, parang I guess yung laban niya dyan, consistency lang, no?
Yes, and it's a matter of credibility and independent, evidence-based, high-caliber research, which we hope we represent. And we welcome the critique. We welcome the responses of government. And by the way, we have been helping various branches of government of the Duterte administration. We have been working extensively with the General Jagger of Customs Agency. Okay. In fact, they just got a major award for good governance in customs. And this is all, of course, of General Jagger's leadership trying to run customs as best he could.
Galing, no?
and he's pushing the reforms there. We are also working with DOH to the
Hmm.
extent that we are running trainings for their officials.
Okay.
And any number of officials of DOH also teach in Ateneo School of Government.
Mhm.
So we are trying to support our government, but at the same time, we're also ready to speak truth to power. In areas where government can improve, that's also part of our mandate. We are not going to watch quietly when things can be improved.
Yes.
So that's our role as your Ateneo School of Government.
It's really not adversarial, no? Parang it is meant to help people to govern better. Yun yung intention.
Yes, and in fact, we prefer to actually be in partnership with government so that we don't
Okay.
necessarily need to air our dirty laundry out to the entire world that we are
Yeah.
not doing a good job in pandemic management. But if that's not going to be listened to, or if it's not going to be a part of the changes and recalibration that is necessary, then we always are ready to speak truth to power by making this all public, because ultimately the power is with the citizens. Dapat malaman ng mamamayan kung tama ba tong nangyayaring to, kung mahusay ba ang pag-manage ng pandemya,
Mhm.
para sila din ang magpapapanagot sa gobyerno.
Yes.
Kasi ganyan nga dapat ang demokrasya natin.
Yung accountability, no? So yung partnership and collaboration should be, no, the buzzwords, no, of any good governance. Parang yun yung gusto natin mangyari. Pero well, now we're looking at the elections, and we're looking at how big is yung COVID response na magiging parang isa sa mga batayan ng pagpili ng mga tao.
Yeah, we suspect that it will be a big factor,
Mm-hmm.
because the reality is most likely we will still be under pandemic by the time that we cast our votes in May 2022. In fact,
Yes.
we are working now we are trying to work with COMELEC and different civil society groups to prepare our nation for a very inclusive and successful May 2022 elections. We don't want Filipinos to be disenfranchised. We don't
Yeah.
want Filipinos to be scared to go out to cast their votes. Scared of COVID, scared of health consequences. So we should really start preparing,
Yeah.
so that the Filipinos will have confidence in going out. We also want to work with civil society groups to develop a COVID safe campaign period. It
Mm-hmm.
will be very unique in our nation's history if you consider it in this way.
Mm-hmm.
And sinabi nyo na nga kanina na marami na nagtatayo ng vlog, di ba? At
Yes. Yes.
may online strategy na rin. So the leaders are innovating themselves, kasi nga hindi madaling umikot ngayon sa Pilipinas.
That's true.
But at the same time, gusto natin pare-parehas naman ng labanan at wala namang misinformation, kasi the success of our elections is based on the correct information and a strong trust by our citizens in the process.
Ang galing nung point na yun. Kasi I guess the first thing that we have to counter ay yung misinformation na ngayon. No? Parang nung nakaraan, people are talking about, actually hanggang ngayon, yung paid trolls or troll farms. So how do we combat that or battle that during this election? Na lalo na matatransport nga sa online yung pagkakampanya. Hindi ko alam kung kaya natin mag-online elections at this point, but people are talking about it for OFWs, di ba? Pero yung sa atin parang hindi pa. Yung registration, tinatry, pero may face-to-face component pa rin yan. Pero paano nyo tinatry na parang palawakin yung pag-iisip or yung paggalaw ng mga tao sa pagsusuri ng mga fake news?
Ang maganda pong balita dyan, actually marami ng grupo ang umiikot, marami ng grupo ang tumutulong. There are any number of media groups and civil society groups working on the issue of fake news, trying to elevate awareness about it, trying to inform young people, including different institutions about how to spot fake news and also how to better be prepared against it. Our group sa Ateneo School of Government is working with civil society groups and other academic institutions to develop tools so that we can popularize greater awareness of misinformation and disinformation, so that we can hopefully start conversations at the family level, at the community
Good.
level
Good.
about fake news.
And
So ang
make
isa,
people accountable, no? Kasi ngayon, kunwari, nabuko na fake news, walang accountability. Parang
yes,
ganun yung nangyayari. Parang kino-call out, pero wala. After that, iba naman. Parang
yeah,
nagbubukas ng ibang issue, no? So, how
yeah.
do we demand that? Kasi ngayon sa lipunan natin, parang there's no one accountable.
Yes, and it's a challenge. Parang COVID din yung fake news eh.
Yes.
Kasi gusto natin containment, 'di ba? Wag
Yes.
kumalat, right? Pero by the time na stop mo siya, ang dami nang nakapulot ng fake
Effective.
news.
Yeah.
So mahina yung containment natin dito sa
Ang ganda ng ang ganda
ah,
ng analogy, no?
oo.
Totoo naman.
So kailangan yung si patient zero, kung si kanino manggagaling yung unang-unang fake news, dapat ma-shutdown kaagad yun eh. So kung maiintindihan natin yung dynamics of where and when fake news sort of emerges, and if we do solid research there, action research, so that we are targeting where to stop it, then magkakaroon tayo ng better effect on this, kasi everyone knows na by the time it reaches lots of people, the damage has been done, no?
That's true. That's
The
true.
other part of it, parang ang pandemya talaga eh. So infodemic ang tawag nga ng ibang mga grupo
Ganda.
dyan. So unang-una, si patient zero ng fake news, dapat hulihin yung mga yon. Dapat maalaman natin kung sino sila at
Ron, paano yun?
shutdown
Paano
kagad.
kung yung mga nanguhuli dapat yun ang gumagawa ng fake news? Yun yung problema natin.
Okay. So isa-isa munang challenge, Noel. So yun,
Okay.
I admit medyo big challenge yan. And it's not
Yeah.
just our challenge in the Philippines. It's a challenge in the United States, in the United Kingdom, many other countries. But fortunately, we're working with different groups. We're even working with Facebook at this
Yun na
point,
nga. Hindi ba
trying to
Facebook nga
figure
was
out.
able to at least ang delist or tawag nun, parang cleanse nila yung file nila pero hindi pa rin totally, di ba?
Yes, yes.
Parang ang virus yan na tipong nag-mutate, iba-ibang variants, tapos nun, even subsidized by yun nga, by people we know in power. Yun yung problema.
Oh, medyo masalimuot yung part na yon. But I want to talk about the other part of it, kasi nga kung para nga siyang COVID-19, the other part of it is make our people stronger and
Yes.
much more immune to fake
Galing,
news, which is
galing.
meaning kailangan palakasin natin yung resistensya nila.
So paano yung zinc and vitamin D? Anong gagawin dyan?
Exactly. So that is the awareness part na tinuturuan natin ng mga kabataan na ito ang fake news. Pagka na-spread yan, pwedeng may mga mangyaring masama sa bansa natin. It can even be damaging to our national security. Some of the fake news is spread by enemies of our nation.
That's true.
So this is not just about politics or politicians spreading
Yeah.
fake news.
That's
So kailangan medyo tayo, generally mas aware tayo about it. Hopefully itong younger generation, mas immune sila by actually us teaching them the importance of this challenge. And I believe that in the process, baka mas nagiging mahalaga yung understanding din nila ng katotohanan, right? Which is the opposite of fake news. So they have a clearer understanding of why the truth matters in our democracy, why this information and evidence base that all of us as academics are pushing for is so important in our decision making in our daily lives. Hindi pwedeng yung sabi-sabi lang, hindi pwedeng yung kumalat lang sa Viber, kumalat lang sa Facebook. Kailangan talaga evidence-based and science-based. At kaya nga, maraming mga tao nag-aaral ng masusi, ng matagal, bago tayo magsalita about vaccines, bago tayo magsalita about certain courses of treatment in terms of COVID-19. So yan ang analogy.
Pero paano yung accountability nga? Kunyari, you have advertising firms, di ba? Mga para magpalaganap niyan. And well, we know people na in charge dun sa campaigns na meron talagang dirty ops. Kasama talaga yon, Ron. So, how do you battle that?
Well, there's an effort now. There's a group called Lente in our Ateneo Law School.
Yes.
It is actually manned by very, very capable young lawyers. And this group is now working on essentially protocols for these different sectors in our economy that are working in advertising, in marketing,
Yun
so
eh.
that they can voluntarily commit to certain rules or certain uh, good standards in terms of managing information,
Mhm.
and hopefully not spreading fake news. Parang nagse-self-regulate na, that's the goal,
That's
right?
true.
Pero
That's true.
eventually, I think, lalo na kung hindi naman maapektuhan talaga yung spread of fake news, may risk pa rin. Baka mag-iisip na tayo ng true policy reform in this area, maybe even legislative reform, to
That's true.
figure out what we can do.
Sabi mo nga talaga yung policy reform yung kailangan, hindi yung winnability at saka hindi yung popularity ng mga tao o yung mga pinagsasabi, no? Well, kasi we just got this news about the ombudsman saying na yung nagpapakalat ng fake news about SALNs kailangan mag-suffer or kailangan yun patawan ng consequence. Pero paano yun? Kanyari parang it's accountability supposedly, no? Pero dito ba, pag nalamang may fake news, it's supposed to be the NBI, nagsusumbong ka sa NBI. Ano yung process doon pala? Yung parang sino yung magsasawatan ng nagpakalat ng fake news? Diba, normally, magko-complain ka sa NBI, yun, gano'n. Tapos, may nasanction na ba talaga?
Oh, well, I must admit I'm not an expert in
Yes.
the investigation part of it, but I will say though that the best way, or one of the ways that is clearly effective in terms of fighting fake news, is to spread the truth and
That's,
to make
that's,
information
that's,
freely available and transparent so that citizens understand the truth.
that's,
If you make it opaque, kung
that's,
hindi mo nilalagay sa public space yung katotohanan, dahil natatakot ka, mas
mm,
lalong nag-iisip ang taong bayan, mas lalong hindi nila maintindihan kasi kung ano yung katotohanan at hindi eh. So I must say, hopefully that the ombudsman could reconsider
yeah
his
nga,
earlier statements that he does not support the public sharing of the SALNs, which is actually reflected in our constitution.
yeah nga eh.
That is therefore incorrect. That should be made public, that should be made transparent, and the more you make it opaque, habang hindi mo yan binibigay sa taong bayan in terms of
That's,
freedom of information and better access, mas lalo kang open to abuse and
that's,
vulnerability of all that is fake that is circulating out there, because nag-iisip ng the worst yung taong
ah,
bayan dahil nga hindi nila naiintindihan eh. So, imbis na katulad natin, mga academics, we can be allies of the ombudsman trying to
yes,
explain what is the truth, bakit ganun kataas yung SALN niya. Baka
yes,
naman may reasonable explanation. Pero
mm,
dahil hindi nila sinashare, hindi siya transparent, we can believe the worst, no? Or
that's
most
true,
of us will believe the worst. So
that's
it's a
true.
self-defeating argument that the ombudsman is fielding, na ayaw niyang gawing transparent yung SALN dahil baka daw gamitin in the wrong way. That is wrong. The more opaque it is, the more they will face this pressure.
Parang counter fake news by giving the truth, no? But kunyari, well, this is not part of what we talked about, but kunyari, Laila de Lima, for example, our advice there was to bring everyone to her narrative of the truth, no? But look, she's in jail now. At yun talaga parang, and a lot of fake news spread about it. So paano kaya yun? Na tipong, ay nagagawang mapakulong yung mga taong parang ganun ka-open or ganun ka-biktima rin ng fake news.
Yes, and it should send a really important message to all of us who hold our democracy dear, which is that if you can do that to a senator,
Yeah,
much more to any lesser citizen or lesser
that's
empowered
true.
citizen. At sana yung sunod na administrasyon, if this administration cannot hold to truth and justice, then hope maybe the next administration will really see to it that we implement proper reforms to protect ourselves from that kind of democratic attack again in the
That's
future,
true.
because
That's
clearly that is an injustice, clearly that needs to be corrected, and clearly Senlila has been the victim of all of these machinations. Unfortunately, fake news was a big part of it,
in
and many
another
of
case in
your
point, no, kunyari,
victims also.
Heidelin Diaz, for example, part of the Matrix, and then eventually, sorry, kalimutan na lang natin. Parang yun yung parang atonement ba yun? Pero walang owning up and then, oo, may mali. Parang ganoon eh. So, how do we, well, we demand, tama ka, sabihin yung katotohanan. And I hope people will subscribe to the truth. Maganda yon. Other things aside from fake news, na tama yung preparasyon nyo yan sa election. Kasi nga, eventually, yun nga, ang pangangampanya magiging online na. What will be the other issues that people you think will consider in electing their next president or leaders?
Maraming dapat pinag-uusapan, and unfortunately until now, because we don't have formal political institutions to
true.
channel all our interest into reforms.
The
We should be,
personalities yung pinag-uusapan, no?
Exactly.
Hindi talaga yung agenda. Yeah, totoo yan.
yeah. So it's about popularity rather than policies right now that is driving who is being considered as winnable, right? And we've been in this cycle several times already since the Marcos years. And it's unfortunate that we still haven't pushed the right reforms to take us out of this very destructive cycle where we focus on personality and winnability rather than on the continuity or discontinuity of certain policies. And it's not actually in our favor in terms of continued development and continued reform progress. So marami tayong kailangan pag-usapan in terms of fourth industrial revolution, building back better, generating jobs when we have so much unemployment, putting in place the right pandemic management response that is science-based and evidence-based. Hindi itong mga face shield na tayo lang sa buong mundo gumagamit. All of that needs to be at the forefront of the decision of every single Filipino in May 2022. And unfortunately, we are failing miserably in terms of letting it guide who will be able to be considered for president and vice president, at least, because and this is an open critique to our system of surveys, no? Surveys do well by our democracy, pero sometimes it's really just popularity. It's not really driven by anything deeper, right?
That's true. Kasi ganito, no? So you're not in favor of everyone filing their candidacies, their certificate of candidacies. Tapos kung sino yung maganda yung numbers, back out. Ayaw mo rin yun. Kasi di ba isang panuntunan na strategy na this is a win-win, parang win-win situation, no fail na pwedeng strategy. But the thing here is meron din kasing wisdom dun sa magsama-sama tayo sa mga pwede nating pag-usapan na common principles, and then we decide. That's yun, we feel that tama ka yung people will push for those reform policies more than tama ka the personalities.
Yes, and we are setting ourselves up for really a divisive election process. Kasi one of the major benefits from a solid primary-based system for selecting leaders from which to choose from, di ba? So in the US, for instance, may primaries yung Democrats, may primaries yung Republicans. It allows you to go through so many choices, and then it allows you to consolidate preferences eventually. Hindi kayo masaya na hindi napili si Elizabeth Warren o si Linda Ocasio or anyone else, pero eventually you see the good in your party na ito na yung mag-consolidate na tayo kasi ang goal natin dito ay manalo. Right now we don't have that process. So when someone suddenly drops out or someone is suddenly not considered, walang process of going through, all of the basically trying to consolidate our preferences, which solid political parties and a solid primary system would have been doing. So kaya napaka-partisan natin until the end.
With the absence of that now, what will take over now? It's really still personalities, no? That can unite people. And what can people spouse? Yung tipong, ano yung mga issues na pwede nilang ipasagot dun sa ano yung stand nyo kunyari sa COVID response. Yung, ganun talaga saan tayo nagkukulang at yun talaga. Kasi feeling ko, will our shared suffering be a catalyst for our choices in the elections?
Well, kaya nga napakahalaga nitong show mo at saka yung iba-ibang mga efforts ng iba-ibang mga grupo ngayon na natutuwa ako, nakikita ko, nagmo-mobilize na ang mga different groups, civil society groups, church groups, and so on. Dahil pinag-uusapan na nga nila yung mga polisiya na malapit sa puso nila. So,
Totoo.
magsasaka sila, so gusto nilang malaman yung food security.
Yes.
Mangingisda sila, so gusto nilang malaman yung gagawin natin sa West Philippine Sea at saka
Mm.
dun sa blue economy na tinatawag natin, yung maritime sector. And so these are all very important, pero dapat talaga, and the challenge actually also applies to us
Yeah.
academics and even to Ateneo and different schools like it. We should really expand our circles
That's
because
true.
we don't always talk to people that we have never talked to before.
That's
And
true.
and that's the problem with our democracy right now. Nagkakaroon tayo ng mga different bubbles. At akala natin do sa bubble na yon, we're also like-minded, but at the same time, we're not winning new support, no?
Ah,
And I think that's another part that we are missing because of the lack of political reforms. Dapat sana political party gumagawa niyan eh.
that's true. Yes.
Dahil nagkaka-signal ng brand, Green Party,
Yeah.
Labor Party,
Yeah.
Republican Party, 'di ba? Liberal Party. Dapat klaro kung ano yung mga
What we
polisiya that you
stand
stand
for.
for
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah.
And you're developing that brand with every election that you are engaging in.
Mhm.
So that's not happening right now so successfully, but we have to do something while we are trying to push for those reforms, hopefully within the next administration. So yung group namin, we're trying to actually advance a first 100 days and a first 300 days reform
Very good.
agenda
Very good.
that will include, so first 100 days, most likely this will be economic, this will be pandemic management, all
Yeah.
focused on the executive because essentially you inherited pa nga the old administration's budget eh.
That's
Pero
true.
yung first 300 days, pwede nang ilagay dyan yung important legislative reforms that we have all been trying to advance for so long, over 25 years, over 30 years. Freedom of information,
Yes.
political
Transparent.
party reform,
Yes.
campaign finance reform, and the
Yes.
most important of all, in my view, anti-dynasty law. So yan ang mga dapat itulak na talaga before tumama pa tayo sa midterms in
That's
2025.
yung parang sinasabi ng mga tao, we are for anti-dynasty, but then walang ginagawa hanggang dumating na naman yung election. Ginagawa pa rin ng mga tao. So, well, at least yan may foresight. But the thing is, will you equip the people with the questions to ask the candidates na tatakbo? Kasi parang ako yun yata yung kailangan natin. No? Parang hindi naman kailangan maging technical. Yung tipong the leaders that we vote for will be representations of our beliefs. No? So, hindi naman kaiba na we're looking for honest leaders. yun. At least yung may accountability o yung tumitingin beyond the self. No? So, how do you operationalize that? Will you equip people with those questions? Or ano yung basic question na dapat tanungin natin sa bawat kandidatong tumatakbo?
Well, to be fair, we have been engaging in that process. College pa lang ako, ginagawa na natin yan.
Oy!
So, naging dekano na ako, yun pa rin ang ginagawa natin. We're trying to educate voters. We're trying to engage in the process by asking them questions and making them reveal what their policy preferences are. And so you can expect any number of presidential and vice presidential debates coming into 2022. So we're going to go through all that.
Ang masakit ron. Pag narinig na nila yung murahan at yung palakasan ng boses, yung rhetoric, wala na, nadadala na yung mga tao, nawawala na yung mga issues. No? So, how do we bring it back to the table na yung mga dapat sagutin ng mga tao, hindi iniiba yung usapan? Kasi ngayon, yun ang nangyayari. Kumuha ka ng bagong paputok or pasabog, nandun na yung focus ng mga tao. So, how can we not be defocused? Sabi mo nga, speaking the truth will be the answer.
During these times of misinformation and disinformation and during very difficult times, nakitang-kita naman natin na hihirapan ng Pilipino ngayon, mas nagiging mahalaga yung mga taong pinagkakatiwalaan nila.
That's true.
So in their communities, sino ba yung pinagkakatiwalaan nila? Yung local parish priest, yung local civil society group na kung saan sila member sila, yung teacher ng mga anak nila, yung mga kasamahan nila sa community na who are now trying to help each other, as we can see with the any number of community pantries, community efforts to try and help each other out. So hopefully we build those grassroots efforts to
Tama naman.
appreciate the truth. Kasi yan ang kalaban ng fake news. In fact, there's a lot of research and science behind um, the understanding that it's the person who actually conveys the information is very, very important also in fighting fake news. Kasi kung pinagkakatiwalaan mo yung pinanggalingan ng impormasyon,
Totoo.
mahalaga yon, baka mas effective yon. So uh, I think the faith-based groups are
Yes.
certainly going to
Yes.
be hopefully important in this election, especially since it's also an election about values.
That's true.
Yung katotohanan o peke,
That's
yung
true.
human rights o hindi mo ginagalang yung pagkatao ng maraming Pilipino, yung soberenya natin o hindi mo rin ginagalang yung soberenya natin. So
That's
there are
true.
many values that have been challenged recently. And I think faith-based groups, academic institutions, kasi hindi mo rin ginagalang yung ebidensya, hindi
That's
mo
true.
ginagalang yung science, hindi mo ginagalang yung expertise. Yung mga ganyang yung mga ganyang usapin, kailangan talaga mag-step up na yung mga pinagkakatiwalaan sa society natin at sabihin yung mas mainam para sa bansa natin. Hindi ka pwedeng maging observer lang
That's true.
habang niyuyurak na yung soberenya natin, hindi na pinapakinggan yung evidence-based, yung mga doktor na binubuli pa ng mga
Ngayon,
politiko.
di ba? That's true.
Nung,
Na nakita natin yung mga yung nangyari sa Facebook, no, yung Zoom meetings sa tipong, "Oy, is that the way you deal with the frontliners?" Ang turing supposedly natin heroes wanting their support. No, but at this point, sa tingin mo mas matimbang 'yan kaysa sa kapalit na GCash? Ngayon kunyari, will people still sell their votes, you think? At lalo na ngayon kailangan ng mga tao yung ayuda. Or people know better? I caught you in one interview saying, oo, yung kung ano man yung ayuda, para sa inyo talaga yan. But then, if we are able to tell people that during their voting, talagang kayo lang. Parang yung konsensya nyo yung kaharap. Well, will we be successful in that? Na tipong kahit sinong iboto mo, hindi malalaman naman ng politiko eh. Di ba? Parang magiging successful ba tayo sa ganong campaign? I don't know if, I know it came from you na it's a safe space when you vote.
well, that is the hope that our people understand that it's a safe space. I've done research on vote buying, by the way. I've published several studies on this.
Upuhayin mo yan, please. Kasi ngayon parang, I think people now are more aware na huwag nyo ibebenta the going rate the last time was 3,000, di ba, sa probinsya? Well, mas mataki dito sa city. Pero yun parang I've seen that happening and it delivered votes. Pero ngayon siguro mas malaki yung repercussions or consequence pag ginawa pa yun.
Yeah, it's it's easier said than done in terms of convincing our people na
I get you.
na talagang hindi malalaman kung ginawa nila yung tama, 'di ba? Maniniwala ka ba, Noel, na yung ibang perang pinag-vote by nasa dulo ng baril binibigay sa ibang bansa sa ibang lugar ng bansa natin. Yung iba pinibigay ang pera tapos nagwe-wave sila ng piece of paper telling the people, alam namin kung sino kayo at alam namin kung sino nakatanggap, pero hindi mo alam, baka blanco lang yung papel na yon. So there are many mind games being played on our people. There's a lot of intimidation, implicit intimidation given to our people. I've seen places where ginutom sila after the election, di binigyan ng budget yung mga ibang barangay dahil hindi nanalo dun yung local na warlord. So nangyayari yan sa iba-ibang parte ng bansa. Our main reform against that is a rights-based way of offering social protection.
That's true.
Hindi tayo bilang mga Pilipino, karapatan mo na tumanggap ng ayuda at karapatan mo na tumanggap ng tulong sa gobyerno mo at sa kapwa mo Pilipino. Kaya nagbayad kami ng taxes para tumulong sa kapwa Pilipino. Yun ang implicit contract natin bilang mga Pilipino at pagtulong sa isa't isa. Yan ang ina-hijack ng mga politiko. Yan ang ina-hijack ng mga corrupt na marami pa sa kanila, mga fat dynasty.
Yeah.
Ginagamit nila yung levers of government, yung resources ng gobyerno para palakasin pa yung sarili nila imbis na yung komunidad ang pinapalakas nila.
Yeah.
So, pag sinabi natin sa isang komunidad, vote wisely, bumoto ka ng alternative. Huwag kang bumoto sa Fat Dynasty. Huwag kang bumoto sa bumibili ng boto. In a way, we have to put ourselves in their shoes. You are asking them the bravest act that they can probably do,
That's true.
being among the most marginalized in our country.
That's true.
Samantalang tayo, uuwi tayo sa ating mga tahanan, maayos yung ating kakainin, maayos yung bahay natin. We can afford to speak up and we can afford to stand up and be heard. But that is not what has been offered to many of our fellow Filipinos. So we must continue to push the reforms that are based on fairness, that are based on need and human rights, and their rights being Filipinos. At yun ang unti-unting magpapahina nitong vote buying and any other traditional political strategies that we all know is very, very erosive of our democracy.
That's true. Back to basic and back to goodness and back to really, yun nga, what the extension of your beliefs and your principles. So, tama yun, no? To save that safe space talaga yung boto mo. Walang makakaalam niyan. Although yung anti-intimidation, siguro nga, yun na nga, 42, yun talagang laban. The courage ba? Tama ka, heroic deed nga yung pagboto ng tama. But the thing is now, given everything now, the spectrum of those people running for office, now we won't name names, pero sabi mo nga ngayon, parang ito talagang circus, no? Parang all the relevant and non-relevant people trying to be relevant again, no? Tipong ganon, throwing their hats in the political arena. At this point, do you see actual reforms? Well, kunyari, of those people running in the Senate, in Congress, parang pare-pareho rin ng mga tao. Parang ako yung na-challenge talaga ron. I think local government, yung LGUs, di ba? Yung mga mayors, doon tayo nagkaroon ng hope. Kasi if there's anything that the pandemic taught us, parang it's looking for the right LGU leader. Yun, parang doon tayo nabuhayan ng loob na yun, hindi nga tayo makakita ng ganon ka-charismatic or ganon ka-progressive na mga pinuno sa itaas, pero nakikita natin on the ground, people are really working. So, nasaan yung reforma dito? Maliban sa atin, doon sa mga hinaharap sa ating mga choices so far.
Yes, the opportunities for reform exist. And we should fight for them. No? Kung kahit na ilan lang yung manalo na totoong reformist, yun namang mga iba, hindi naman sila makakontra sa mabuting itutulak natin eh. Dahil they won't get caught saying no to educating young people, universal healthcare. Gusto rin nila kasama rin sila dun sa ano. So in fact, I think the challenge for us is really not to look too much to our leaders. They respond to the people. Convince more of our people to stand up from day one of the next administration to push for the reforms in the first 100 and first 300 days. Let us not waste time again and give it the cycle na nakalimutan na naman yung mga pangako, nakalimutan na naman yung window of reform. Kasi oras na malapit ka na ulit sa midterms, kahit yung reformist, lalaro yan eh. Kasi kailangan na niya ng kakampi to try and continue to hold the administration. So, in the midterms, they will be pragmatic, ruthlessly pragmatic, in fact, and work with the dynasties, work with the corrupt, and try to push, try to get our country, moving forward together. No, and so in fairness to them, it's not easy to govern us because of our malfunctioning way of selecting leaders.
Pero yun na nga, yung iba pinagmamalaki na nilang balimbing sila, di ba? Yung parang, oh no, I'm just thinking of my constituents, pero lipat kung sino yung powerful. Wala talagang end yun kung hindi talaga policy yung pinagbabago, kung hindi personalities.
Yes, and it's normalizing really bad behavior. So in fact, ganun din yung vote buying. Eh. Parang it's normalizing something that is abnormal. So hopefully we bring ourselves back into sort of a greater awareness, and I think the overfixation on focusing on leaders, let's focus on getting the numbers, getting the communities involved, making them aware of the important things that we must push together. And then the leaders, whoever they are, will respond to that. That's at least the hope.
Spectrum of things to, na ihahain sa mga tao in the next few days. Ano yun, parang more and more people will be filing their candidacy, para sa top 2 positions, or ma-weed out yan eventually by come October, or talagang hihintayin hanggang November?
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Thank
Actually,
you.
if we just base it on history, many will file. Eventually, some will drop out. There will
Yeah.
be deals made to consolidate some of the support. Some of them will end up losing the gas kasi
Yeah.
mahal magastos tumakbo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in a way attrition din yung
True.
labanan, right? But I think the key with at least some of the better leaders that we hope will also throw their hats in the ring is to support them in a very strong way
That's true.
and to enlarge the circle kasi hindi pwedeng nandun lang tayo dun sa chamber natin, nandun lang tayo dun
That's
sa choir
true.
natin, no?
That's true. So you think, well, ang headline ngayon, di ba? Sarah's presidential bid out as Roddy guns for VP. You think that will happen?
I guess your guess is as good as mine
Ang safe
on
naman
that.
yan. Ang safe niyan. Do you think, well, are we ready for surprises eventually there? Being number one in the survey, at least, do you believe that survey? Meron namang basehan yung survey na number one si Sarah dun sa past surveys. Oo naman.
Well, assuming the surveys are scientifically done and the methods are very strict and disciplined, that is something to consider. But again, our research goes into what drove that survey result.
True. Ganda.
What kind of information did you have access to?
That's
What
true.
were you
What were
afraid?
the question? Yeah.
What was the question? Yeah, who were the people on offer? No,
That's
baka
true.
hindi mo pa narinig yung alternatives.
Yes.
And again, I will also ask, na may trabaho ka pa ba noon nung sumagot ka ng survey?
That's
Ngayon, may trabaho ka pa rin?
Yun eh.
Dumating na yung bakuna mo? Nagkaroon ba ng sakit yung lolo't lola mo? Ang dami ba doon sa mga komunidad mo ang tinatamaan ngayon ng COVID? Lahat yan kailangan kasama doon sa
At
analysis
least
natin.
mas buo mas buo yung pag-susuri nung survey results. But otherwise, yun nga, parang offhand, you think Sarah will run?
Oh, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay. You think paano ba to? You think
Sorry,
you think it will be a Duterte tandem? You think is that possible?
I don't know what to think about that. I'm very saddened by the prospect of
Because of the
father-daughter because in my research, that's called the Fat Dynasty. So we saw it in mayors, mayor, vice mayor, mag-ina, mag-ama, governor, vice governor, mag-ama. Pero ngayon ko lang nakakita na baka at least the prospect of father and daughter, which I think is not good for our country. So whether they do it or not, I have no sense of what is the probability of that. But I will tell you, I don't think it is a good sign for our democracy. I don't think it is a good sign for checks and balances. And I think it normalizes something that we already saw in the local, which was not producing good development results. That kind of fat dynastic leadership, hindi po yan associated with poverty reduction. Hindi siya associated with job creation. Ang nakikita natin sa Fat Dynasty, humihirap ang mga tao at nagiging mas mahirap ang lugar habang lumayaman yung mga dynasty.
Pero strong leadership daw. And it's something that we need. Sorry. Well, yun yung they run under that impression. Na at least decisive yung leader. Pero ang tanong natin palagi dyan, towards what? No? Para kanino? So, yun eh.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that this strong leadership angle is an angle that gets a lot of sympathizers because of stalemate and because of noise, no, na nagiging impatient ang ating mga kababayan for good reason. For good reason, 'di ba? Parang napapagod na ako. Ang dami, may nagbabatikos, meron nagde-defend. Di ko na alam kung sino pagkakatiwalaan ko. Let's just get someone who's decisive, no? Let's just get things done in 3 months, in 6 months. That is actually not how you run government. And
that's our pitfall, di ba? That's our pitfall, actually.
Yeah, and I run the School of Government. No, the way you do it is actually to build institutions.
That's true.
You don't need strong leaders. What you need is strong citizens and strong institutions.
Ang galing.
So yun dapat ang focus natin. Palakasin mo yung pinuno, bigyan mo siya ng maraming kapangyarihan na wala namang checks and balances. Ginawa na natin yan at ang nangyari, dictatorship.
Galing.
So,
Kasi ito,
medyo
hindi mo kailangan ng taong mumurahin yung leader mo pabalik. Hindi 'yon. Kasi yun yung sinasabi ng ibang tao ngayon. Di ba, kailangan natin ng isa na pwedeng tuyain o pwedeng sabihan ito, mali ka, PI mo. Parang ganon. So, hindi 'yon.
hindi. In fact, the best leaders in the world, hindi mo nakikitang nagmumura, hindi mo nakikitang pinagpapawisan, hindi mo nakikitang naghihirap dahil napapaligiran siya ng malakas na mga institusyon at malakas na mga mamamayan. Hindi sila nahihirapang patakbuhin yung gobyerno nila at hindi sila nahihirapang paunlarin yung ekonomiya nila dahil maayos yung pare-parehas yung paggamit ng kapangyarihan sa ekonomiya at saka sa politika. Dito lang nakikita natin dahil nga nawawala na ng pasensya yung ating mga kababayan
Ayun.
natutulak tayo dun sa authoritarian or strong leader narrative. Pero actually, nangyari na yan before sa atin, nangyari na yan sa maraming ibang bansa at hindi maganda ang naging resulta. Kaya nga ang binilagay natin, checks and balances. Dahil bigyan mo ng kapangyarihan ng isang pamilya, palakasin mo sila ng todo, pero walang checks and balances, hindi nila gagamitin yan sa kabutihan. In fact, what you will have is impunity rather than development.
Kinikilabutan ako kasi yan yun. Yan yung dapat naririnig ng mga tao at yan yung pangungonsensya. Yung pagbaling natin sa atin na, pag tayo na lang at sasabihin natin, oo nga, parang, it's really learned helplessness for some of our kababayan. Sa tipong instant sagot nila, dapat talaga murahin na rin yan. Dapat lumaban na ganyan. Pero hindi hindi talaga. Dapat institutional, dapat matagalan yung reforma, dapat talaga may plano.
Pero,
go.
At the same time, Noel, I must say we need to bridge that discussion with our fellow Filipinos na naniniwala pa rin doon sa strong leader narrative. Huwag natin silang awayin, huwag natin silang murahin dahil walang mangyayari sa atin kung nagmumura sila, nagmumura tayo, pareho na lang tayong talo nun. Let us try to understand why they are actually forced into this narrative. Are they sick and tired of our system? Baka naman meron tayong pwedeng shared na i-advance na reforma. Naniniwala rin ba sila sa dynasty regulation? Naniniwala rin ba sila sa political party reform? Yun, pag yun ang nangyari sa atin, mas magiging maayos yung ating decision making, mas magiging maayos ang pagpapatakbo ng gobyerno natin. Yun din naman siguro ang gusto nila, no? So kailangan kasi hindi porket yung sensibility natin at yung values natin is so against authoritarianism and dictatorship that we should assume everyone else shares the same sensibilities. If they don't, the best way to move forward is to win them over through a discussion. Not to demonize them, not na murahin din sila dahil bakit kayo naniniwala sa diktador? Kailangan intindihin natin bakit ba. So again, opinion research, their context. Are they becoming more of us? Are more and more Filipinos losing hope in what we're building? That is why populists are so powerful in our country dahil maraming nawawalan na ng loob dito sa ginagawa natin. Dahil ang laki nga ng ekonomiya natin pero hindi naman sila kasama.
That's true.
To go abroad to look for work. We are not nearly generating enough jobs in our country. And there's a lot of inequality. Nagkalat ang luxury cars sa EDSA. Pero
totoo ka dyan.
So, bakit ka maniniwala dito sa pinagsasabi ng mga pro-democracy pero hindi naman tinutulak yung parehas na lipunan, parehas na ekonomiya? So, I think dapat
lang yan. That we can agree on and work from there kasi parang ramdam talaga natin yung divide ngayon.
Yes.
Natin pong let's strive to really converse, dialogue, and then look for more spaces when we can agree at sumulong from there. Yes. Well, this is the start of our conversation. Why? Because we are encouraging everyone to go out and register. Well, it's hard now, but magandang dyan, meron tayong mga tao, meron mga pictures, di ba, na pumipila na sa gitna ng pandemya yung mga tao para mag-register ngayong election. So the last day will be on the 30th ng September, and then I think merong way para gawin yon online, pero kailangan na magpakita doon at i-present yung sarili nila, pero you have until the 30th to register. And then we'll have more of you, Ron, and your department, I guess, because we're putting up this Katipunan Town Hall and more discussions. And in the end, no, sana mas may clarity, or kung hindi man, we're out there to like ask the right questions that you also raise. So Ron, last words for now for our audience, and then eventually we'll really look forward to your surveys, your studies, and giving us clarity and not noise.
Well, nagpapasalamat ako sa Radyo Katipunan, to you, Noel, and to your colleagues for the chance to exchange ideas this afternoon. Nangangarap ako na mas mahusay at maayos ang mapipili natin, matino at mahusay ang mapipili natin sa May 2022. Pero yung daan patungo doon ay medyo mahirap. So,
yes.
mas mainam siguro na kesa magmurahan tayo at mag-away, ay mag-usap ng mahinahon at ibase yung usapan na yan sa ebidensya. At yan sana itutulak natin going forward. So thank you so much for the chance to...
Maraming salamat. And we'll call you and then we'll be part of the Katipunan Town Hall. Maraming salamat, Ron. Thank you. And good afternoon. Thank you, Ron, the Dean of our School of Government here in the Ateneo. We tried calling Kabayan. We thought we'd have a scoop today with his revelations, but we'll try to reset it kasi yun nga sabi niya, hindi Zoom but phone patch. No? But up next, we'll talk to an icon that has kept her relevance intact even after 5-6 years after winning Miss Universe. Yun lang, dun pa lang, no, parang pwede nating tingnan siya bilang someone who has institutionalized, no, not power but influence, good influence sa mga tao. We'll talk to Pia Wurtzbach when we come back here at Level Up. Maraming salamat po.
Wag mo na kayang palampasin, wag na wag mo na kayang palampasin, wag na wag mo na kayang patagalin, tenanaw mo na gawin mo na. Level up, lumilipad, level up, hanggang ulan, level up, tumitingkad, level up, matutupad. Go na go na go na go na go na go lang go. Go na go na go na go na go na go lang go. Para sipagin na natin to. Para samahan niyo na ako.
Level up. Kaya Ateneo, level up.
Level up.
Happy victorious 3rd anniversary Radyo Katipunan, and congratulations to my very good friend Noel Ferrer of Level Up for all awards you have been receiving. It's such a great honor and privilege na mag-guest po sa inyong show last year. It was so much fun doing that interview considering that I was still grieving the loss of my mom and my beloved sister. It's really nice to talk to my good friend, kapatid na Noel. It's always a pleasure. Please take care of yourself and stay safe and healthy. Sa kahit na ano pong gagawin natin, kailangan po tayong mag-level up. Again, thank you very much. Thank you for your service, and God bless you more and more.
Happy 3rd anniversary sa Radyo Katipunan. At syempre, congratulations din kay Sir Noel ng Level Up. Thank you for always sharing the message of hope during these uncertain times. And I pray that you will always be a source of inspiration for your community. Once again, congratulations and happy 3rd anniversary.
Voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan, 87.9.
Hello! Ako po si Joey De Leon at ako po ay bumabati sa Radyo Katipunan sa kanilang anibersaryo. Kung nabubuhay lang si Bonifacio, tiyak sasabihin niya, so good, mga kapatid. So good, lalo na ang palatuntunan ni Noel, na level up. In English, level up. In Tagalog, kataas-taasang Radyo Katipunan. Congratulations, tandaan nyo, ang Radyo Katipunan, lalo na ang level up ni Noel. So good, mga kapatid.
The voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9.
Sa Radyo Katipunan, happy 3rd anniversary po sa inyo. Thank you for connecting us with one another during these difficult times. At pati kay Sir Noel ng Level Up, congratulations din po sa inyo. Thank you for bringing to us stories of inspiration and stories of excellence. Ako po si Vico Soto na nagsasabing basta't sama-sama tayo, patuloy na umaagos ang pag-asa at patuloy tayong mag-level up.
The voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9.
Congratulations for the 3rd year anniversary of Level Up, and congratulations, Noel, for all the awards and recognition you've been receiving for you and your program. And syempre, I'd like to thank you and to congratulate you for having the virtue of always speaking the truth and always standing for what is right and what is good. So again, congratulations at sana matagal na matagal pang yung programa at ang iyong kontribusyon sa ating industriya. Again, congratulations!
Hi Noel, my friend. Congratulations on the success of your online show, Level Up. 3 years old na and it continues to reap awards. So friend, continue to serve our people, our industry, and our country. And bilang kaibigan, kung may maitutulong ako, friend, I will always be here, okay? Just a text away. So please keep up the excellent work. Pareho tayo ng advokasya pagdating sa bakuna. Meron lamang kung gustong ibigay na mensahe para sa ating mga kababayan. Okay? Mga kababayan, magpabakuna na po tayong lahat. Ang vaccine po ay para po sa ating kaligtasan at hindi po ito dapat katakutan. Ililigtas po tayo nito sa pandemyang COVID-19. Kaya huwag na po tayong mag-atubili na magpabakuna. Do it for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for our country. Kaya magparehistro na po kayo at siguraduhin po na magpabakuna. Malalagpasan din po natin ang pagsubok na ito. This is Congresswoman Ate V, and may God bless us all. Salamat.
Paulit-ulit kang nagplano. Paulit-ulit ngunit lagi din naman nababago. Wag mo na kayang palampasin, wag na wag mo na kayang palampasin, wag na wag mo na kayang patagalin, tenanaw mo na gawin mo na. Lumilipad hanggang ulan, tumitingkad, matutupad. Go nang go nang go nang go nang go nang go lang go. Go nang go nang go nang go.
As I said, on our second part, we talked to an icon, another icon, but an icon was kept her relevance until this day. And I think, no, yun na yung mission niya sa buhay, to keep her relevance for the service of others. Yun yata. The 2015 Miss Universe, pero para sa atin, she's Queen P. And well, P stands for, yun nga, parang an infinite possibility in Pia Wurtzbach. Pia, maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat din for inviting me here. Hello sa lahat ng mga listeners natin.
It's really a level up interview. Why? Because this is a welcome back kasi isa kang OFW.
Yes.
Yun yung
Parang ganun na.
Like, well, ito maganda. The context is that you interviewed Heidelin yesterday and it will
Yes.
come out, it's a reinvention of Pia, it will come out in a podcast. Can you tell us about the podcast, Pia?
Yes, so this podcast was something that we started during the pandemic actually. Parang ano lang namin to, pandemic project na hindi naman namin in-expect na magiging ganito ka successful, ganyan. So we just started out as, kasi tatlo kami doon sa podcast na yon, and I'm joined by two of my really good friends na nakalaban ko sa pageants before. So magkaka-competition kami before, pero hindi talaga namin na-feel yun kasi kahit nung nasa binibini kami, sobrang close namin. Tapos ayun, until years later, magkakaibigan pa rin kami, sobrang close namin. So sabi namin, gawa kaya tayo ng show na parang makakapag-voice out tayo ng mga opinion natin, pag-usapan natin yung mga relevant na issues, social issues, women's issues, kung ano yung mga pinag-uusapan ng panahon ngayon, ganyan, para may platform tayo. And
it's not scripted, no? It's really from your heart.
No.
And yun nga ang maganda, parang when we listen to it, parang, they're speaking their mind, they're speaking their heart. And parang ako, it puts you in another light. Kasi alam mo naman, pag movie script, pag TV script, iba yan. May pinafollow ka talagang script. Dito, iba. And so, you're with two people, you said.
Yeah, so what I love about this is, ang podcast kasi ang challenge dito, hindi nakikita yung itsura namin, yung mukha namin. So, syempre matagal kong hook yun, no? Na parang sa mga YouTube, sa Instagram, ganyan, I get the views because may video. Pero in this case, the challenge was, how do we keep people engaged just by our thoughts and our opinions and our voices? So, nakapag-guest na rin kami ng mga artista, ganyan, sila Ann, sila Liza, nag-guest sila. Tapos, kahapon nga, si Heidelin ang nag-guest namin. So, sobrang excited kami na mapakinggan nyo yung episode na to. Muntik na kaming mag-iyakan. Kasi, parang habang inaano niya kasi kami, kinukwentuhan niya kami on how it all started
para kang
for her.
Di ba? Pag every time, para kang bumait na tao. Ako yun yung feeling mo na tipong, it's really not just excellence, but it's really being a good person. And you know a good person when you see one, eh. So, maganda yun kasi when after your podcast, sinabi niya, sir, ang dami kong natutunan. Sabi niya, ang dami niya natutunan. It's a shared experience. It's coming out when, Pia?
We're planning to release it by
your birthday. Yay!
I think my birthday week, tama. Next week yata. Next week po. Next Friday.
So sabi ko yun Sabi ko kay Rika, your handler, sabi ko, ayun, September, it's a welcome back episode and then it's your birthday. On September 25th, it's your birthday. So you're turning 32, but who's afraid of being 32? Tama ba yan?
Once you hit 30,
okay,
parang okay na. 31, 2, 3, they're all the same.
No, and we have to look at the shared experience. Kayo ni Heidelin, you brought honors to the country, pero yun nga yung maganda, hindi naging madali yung daan. Di ba? Parang nagkasama kayo sa commercial na San Miguel. Yung pagiging matatag nyo nandoon. Ang dami nyong pinagdaanan. And I think yung strength comes from good relationship with your family. Yun talaga eh. And in the end, you're surrounded by people who made you focus on what is necessary. Yun yung mahalaga. Tapos yun, parang in the end, sabi niya gano'n, ang natutunan niya sa inyo, yung hindi nakaka-overwhelm kasi yung stature niyo kasi iba. When you brought some honor to the country, parang may ilang or ilag yung mga tao. Pero yung pagkausap niya sa inyo, ang natural. Tell us about the whole experience yesterday.
Yes, so ang ginagawa kasi namin sa podcast recording namin, hindi rin namin binibigyan ng pressure yung guest namin na mag-makeup pa at mag-ayos because we assure them it's a podcast. So we don't care what you look like because yung boses mo lang at yung kwento mo dito. And kasi excited din kaming tatlo na makausap siya. So the questions rolled off very naturally. And what I love about her was she was so game to explain things in a very truthful way. Hindi showbiz.
parang ikaw, di ba, you'd speak your mind. Although, pag press release, sige, pero ikaw kasi pag ayaw masagot, hindi ka nalang sumasagot, di ba?
Yeah.
You don't,
Oo.
we know you, parang ay, wag na lang. Parang then say the non-truth, di ba?
Yeah.
So, but Heidi says it as it is. Iba,
Mhm,
no?
mhm.
So, yun, parang, and also here, yung pinagdaanan mo, hindi mo lang natanong, yung OFW, pareho kayo ng karanasan. Because she was out of the country for more than a year to train.
Yes, she told us.
Ikaw, Pia,
Grabe.
6 months ka na lang ba? Ganon yung nangyayari, no? 6 months abroad and 6 months dito sa Pilipinas. Tell us about your experience as an OFW.
Parang naging ganun na nga because of the pandemic, honestly,
Yes.
na kailangan mag-adjust. Hindi na pwede yung hop on, hop off sa eroplano eh. Kailangan pinaplano mo talaga ng maigi. Saan ka pupunta? Gaano ka katagal doon? Anong mga kailangan mong daling mga documents? Paano ka magtatrabaho remotely? Ganyan. So, yun yung mga plano yung mga bagay na kailangan pinaplano ng maigi. So far, kasi nga si Jeremy nakatira sa Abu Dhabi ngayon, sinisplit ko yung time ko between Abu Dhabi and Manila, which is actually noong una nga dati nasa New York siya. Mas malapit na nga to, mas masaya na ako kasi kahit papaano halfway naman and ang daming Pilipino, so hindi ako homesick. Tapos dahil naman din sa pandemic, a lot of the work that I do can be done online. So yung mga appearances online, kung meron man ako mga kailangan i-post sa Instagram because of my endorsements, dinadala ko sila sa Abu Dhabi. Tapos kukunan ng kukunan. So kung gusto mo naman, may paraan naman talaga na mabalance yung LDR, charot, tsaka yung career. You don't have to pick one or the other naman.
Ang galing. Kasi yun nga, parang now you feel how OFWs feel. And yun nga, si Mark Nelson nag-comment din sa'yo dun sa post mo, yung LDR nga, kasi siya rin may ganong experience.
Yeah.
Parang now you're able to bridge gaps or to really spend more time because you've tried navigating online. But ikaw ba dati pa magaling ka na online?
Yeah, I'm really hands-on with
good.
ma-gadgets na ako and hands-on din ako sa mga social media ko. Siguro dahil ngayon sa pandemic, I've become more active in the parang community. Talagang nagre-reply ako. View ko talaga yung mga comments, kanyan. Kasi I wanna engage with my audience eh. Everybody's online now. And wala naman akong TV show. Wala naman akong teleserye, ganyan. Ang nakikita lang ako ng mga tao sa commercial o kaya sa photos on Instagram. So I asked myself, paano ko ba how do I introduce myself to people as Pia? Paano ba nila akong maririnig na nagsasalita? At paano nila ako mas makikilala? And, the way to do that nowadays is to interact with the people. So, yeah.
And now, you're seen like working abroad, and then you're still with your causes, no? Parang the causes from before are consistent with the causes now. You're still before you had HIV/AIDS awareness, and then thank you for like pushing for the SOGI bill. What other causes have added to your existing causes, Pia?
Yes, so last year, I was approached by WWF Philippines to be one of their ambassadors. Now, honestly, sinabi ko talaga sa kanila na you guys will have to teach me along the way kasi hindi ako expert sa field na to. Although, yes, I wanna apply it in my life and I wanna spread the message. Pero tulungan niyo ako para mas marami din akong matulungan, ganon. So, I'm one of their younger ambassadors kasi bago pa lang ako sa kanila. Pero so far, okay naman yung relationship namin. I focus more on food sa WWF, so food waste. In other countries, hindi masyadong problema yun kasi efficient sila sa ganun. Pero sa Pilipinas, maraming naaksayang pagkain. So, yun ang focus ko sa WWF. And aside from that, I work very closely with Love Yourself. It's an organization here in the Philippines. And although HIV and AIDS yung initial na advocacy ko talaga sa kanila, I've slowly started to not switch, pero parang include mental health. So I have an advocacy show on YouTube. Every week, we upload a new episode. So may ini-interview ko na mga guests na iba't iba yung pinagdaanan nila sa buhay. So merong
Oh.
may kamag-anak na nagka-COVID, meron naman na may nagkaroon ng eating disorder, tapos meron naman nagkaroon ng domestic violence. So iba-iba sila ng experiences. Ini-interview ko sila. So ngayon naman, mas pa-mental health yung focus ko and environment. Tapos, from time to time, I also, hindi ako ambassador ng Save the Children, pero I always work with them. Para na rin ako naging ambassador. So, palagi ako nagpa-fundraising. Actually, after this video, I'm gonna record a thank you video for the people who donated. Kasi we did a fundraising for the whole month of August. Ang target namin, 120,000 lang. Pero, nakaabot kami sa 320. So, almost times 3. So, sobrang pasalamat ko talaga sa mga tao na after all these years.
So it's that it's really your voice and your platforms. Parang a lot of platforms opened up because of what you represent, Pia. So thank you for that. Pero na-notice mo parang adulting na. Yung mga Totoo. And somehow, palagi ko tinatanong, ano relevance ba ng pagiging artista ngayong mga panahon ngayon? And then people, I had John Arcilla last week and sabi niya, sana tignan kami, hindi lang kami bilang umaarte, pero bilang citizens of this country. And we're affected by what's happening. Ang maganda sa'yo, instead of focusing on the problem, you're really focusing on solutions. Food security or food waste
management.
And then environment when you go WWF, and now children. So that prepares you. And ano yung effect sa'yo? Ito, we have to make people understand that these things, ambassadorship, don't pay.
Don't pay.
Di ba? Di ba talagang, these are all extensions of your goodness. Yan yung investment natin sa langit, di ba? Parang all the other brands are coming in for different purposes. But these ones, it's food for the soul. For the soul. What does it add to you, Pia?
Siguro I've also reached that point in my life. And kasi I'm getting older. I'm getting older. So parang, and also because of the pandemic, you start thinking na, sa totoo lang, last year, maraming trabaho na either na-cancel or na-postpone. Tapos ang tagal natin na nasa loob lang ng bahay, and I started looking around. Like thinking na, hindi ko naman kailangan lahat to. Yung iniisip kong ganun. Tapos pag binubuksan ko yung TV, puro bad news naman. Tapos sabi ko, what can I do? Like, isang tao lang ako, okay. Pero ano kayang pwede kong magawa? So, ang alam kong meron ako is meron akong platform, okay. May mga makikinig, may mga followers. Ano kayang pwede kong gawin through that? What can I do from the corners of my room? Like, what can I do? Like, online lang. So, parang dun ko nasimulan. And honestly, like you're right, wala namang bayad yung mga bagay na to. Pero I feel like I learn as I am going through my work, advocacy work. Like for example, WWF. Hindi naman ako expert, pero because I've been working with them, ang dami kong natutunan. And na-apply ko siya sa life ko. And nakukwento ko rin siya sa ibang tao. So parang passing on the knowledge or the message. Tapos sa mental health then, it's so relevant nowadays. Many people are going through
tough times.
Are having challenges with their mental health. Hindi na ako lalayo sa family ko pa lang, sa kapatid ko. So parang it's not just because natripan kong mag-mental health advocacy, may tulong sa akin yun kasi natututo ako.
That's true. At may lifestyle change. Yun yung, di ba? When you go through these advocacies, hindi pwedeng hindi ka magbago. Di ba parang gano'n, no? Yun talaga yung demand sa'yo na tipo, yung mas masakit, mas mahirap pa yan eh. Kasi kung babayaran ka, after that, you spend it, no? Pero ito, pag advocacy, parang meron kang, alam mo yung ginagawa niyan, pinapalawak niya yung konsensya natin. If at all. It's how you manage to be a better person. It's that. Yeah. So, now that you have enriched yourself as a better person, kasi Pia, we know, you cannot share what you don't have. You're a better partner, I suppose, now.
Oo naman. Of course. Diba? Like, oo naman. You grow. You just really grow. And, I've never been parang ashamed to admit that, like, you grow as a person. You're not, as a partner, like in a relationship. Of course, there were things that I could have done better, that I could have handled properly in the past. Yes.
Yes.
And then you apply those lessons in your parang current relationship, 'di ba? Parang lahat naman merong learning process and then you just apply it. So I can say that all of these experiences parang nagmamature ka eh. Tapos apektado lahat ng ng buhay mo, lahat ng facets ng life mo.
And maturity dictates that you don't answer na intrigues and controversies. You're way past that, no? Parang, and your best weapon is a good work. And your best weapon is a good relationship now. Parang, Pia, yun nga, pag-usap niyo ni Heidi, nakalimutan mo tungkol sa boyfriend niya. Pero yun
Hindi ko tinanong.
May ganong similar experience that there's someone grounding you, di ba? To be your best. What's the effect of Jeremy on you?
Well, sobrang positive na effect niya sa akin.
Kilig na kilig ka ngayon.
Hindi, pero alam niya to, and I always say this to him. I'm very grateful for the kind of positive impact he's had in my life. Kasi he met me at a time na sobrang puro trabaho lang talaga ako.
Yeah.
As in, I used to think that work equals success. Na pagka busy ka at nagtatrabaho ka palagi, yun ang tamang gawin at tamang desisyon. And then slowly I started to realize, wait a minute, years have passed by. Sa mata ng mga tao, busy ako and I'm, doing well at work. But I've been missing out on real life experiences. I've been missing out on birthdays of my friends. I've been missing out on important milestones of my friends, of my family, ganyan. Tapos parang months or years will go by and you realize, I don't remember the last time I did something for myself. Alam mo yun?
It's not quantity of things that you do. It's really gaano kalalim or gaano nagtatak sa'yo. Pia, I met you at a time when ito yung mga relationships mo. Ikaw din kasi parang gusto mo maraming challenges. Parang yung buhay mo. Ang sabihin ko, nung nakilala kita at sinasabi ng mga taong nakapaligid sa'yo, martyr yan. Yung sinabi talaga na parang ibang klase kasi napagwagihan mo yan, hindi nila alam yung ganong side. That you're the one na matimpiin sa relasyon. Ikaw yung mapagbigay at nangiintindi until you found someone who gave you your worth. No, not naman gave your worth or showed you your worth. Yung tipong wala ka ng papatutanayan.
It felt really good to feel that sense of security in the relationship. Kasi parang now that that's stable and maganda yung foundation ng relationship natin, I have time now to focus on other things. Parang hindi nauubos yung oras ko sa pag-aalala kung magkakaroon ba kami ng future nito, seryoso ba siya sa akin, mahal niya ba talaga ako, may mga kailangan pa ba akong ayusin sa kanya. Alam mo yung fixer ako eh.
Kasi aligned na lahat, di ba? So you're
aligned
able to accomplish more. Totoo yun. And you're able to experiment pa, Pia, ha? Kung ibang boyfriend, bawal ka magpakita ng underwear. Pero ngayon, nagagawa mo.
Actually, sobrang I think maybe it could also be the differences in the culture, but he's very he just lets me do what I like and to do what I want, and he doesn't really restrict me from. The only thing he restricts me with is the bad eating habits.
Kailangan mo yan. Pia, let's go through my checklist of real, honest to goodness, good people in your life. Number 1, gumagaling ka ba when you're with him?
Oo naman. I feel like
you're real people na who are concerned or tamang fit sa'yo. They dream with you and they want you to achieve the best. Parang gano'n.
Yeah, ganun feeling.
At gano'n din ka sa kanya. Pangalawa, Pia, bumabait ka ba sa kanya? When you're
nako, naputol lang sungay ko. Charot.
Ang galing. That's the second one. Talagang bumabait. Pangatlo, lumapit ka sa Diyos. Do you pray together?
Yes. I don't pray to ask for anything anymore, honestly.
Thank you more.
Thank you na lang ako. Parang iniisip ko kasi hindi na, like parang hihiling pa ako, magre-request pa ako. Diyos ko, parang hindi na.
Mag-thank you na lang.
Thank you na lang ako ng thank you. Thank you ako ng thank you. Pasalamat na lang ako ng pasalamat. Ganun na lang.
It changes when you have a grateful heart. It's different. Parang hindi ka naghahanap ng more. no? Pang-apat, game. Naayos ba yung ibang sistema mo, like the way you deal with family? Or does she jive with the family? Hindi pwede kasing you and me against the world, di ba?
Oo naman,
May
hindi pwede yun.
may integration na ba yan with your family and friends and with your community?
Yes,
Oo.
but not as close as I would hope to be because of the pandemic. Kasi unfortunately, hindi pa siya nakakapunta dito sa Pilipinas since naging kami. I mean, he's been here before. He's been here like 6 times already. Pero since we became a couple, hindi pa siya nakakapunta dito because nga hindi pa allowed ang mga foreigners. So, hindi pa niya nami-meet yung mga friends ko online pa lang. Pero so far, may seal of approval na rin naman. Pati ng family.
Kasi they just have to see that you're happy, not only happy, but you're secure and you're at your best, really. At ang nakahuli, Pia, of course, look at all your pictures. You look your best, less ngarag, kung tama yung relasyon mo. Aminin mo 'yan. Yung pinakapangit ka, yung feeling mong pinakapangit ka, yun yung maling relasyon o yun yung mga toxic relationship. Pia, your pictorials are really good. Yung tipong kahit woke up like this na mga pictures nyo, maayos. So, feeling ko, it seems like tama ito. Tama ito. Lalo na yung kabutihan. Sabi mo ngayon, bumait ka dahil dito. And that matters. And you're able to do more things because of this. You see this being your forever already? Or you wish? Of course you wish.
I of course, of course that's the goal for both of us.
Yes.
We're not kids that are trying to parang play around pa ganyan. I mean, he is older than me. He is 36 now.
Okay, it doesn't matter, you said.
Yeah, and then I'm turning 32. So we're both, I mean, and honestly, I don't think the relationship would also work if we didn't have the same goal.
Mindset.
So alam namin kung saan namin gustong papunta.
Okay. You're blessed, kapatid. You think, you've talked about marriage.
Oh yeah, of course.
Parang si Heidi, sana tinanong mo yun, yung second episode nyo, kayo.
Naku! Alam mo, sabi ko sa kanya, kasi yung tanong namin kay Heidi kahapon, sabi ko, Heidi, hindi mo ba napansin na pagka female athlete, tinatanong ka kung kailan ka mag-aasawa at kung kailan ka magkakaanak. Pero pagka male athlete, hindi tinatanong. Napansin mo ba yun?
Oo nga.
Oo. Tapos sabi niya, oo nga no. As in, nung moment na yun, bigla siyang napaisip. Sabi niya, oo nga no. Bakit nga ba ganun? Sabi niya, ganun na rin kasi talaga tayo. Kultura na natin yan eh. Sobrang honest naman.
Totoo. Babalik ko sa iyo yung tanong, Pia. Di mo ba nakikita na at this point, may pressure na rin for you to have a family? And you have friends like Pauline Luna having a family, and some of your friends here, kahit non-showbiz, no? Do you see yourself already as a married person and having a kid?
Well, I feel like those are two different things. Pagka kasi married ka na, pwede ka pa namang tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung projects mo, ganyan na ginagawa mo. But I think family is where I would really need to adjust some things in my life. Because I want to be able to rest when that happens. Ayoko na yung kunyari, I'm carrying a baby. Tapos I'm thinking, naku, may mga projects pa akong kailangan tapusin kasi paano na yung babayaran, ganito, ganyan. So I want to come to a point where secure na ako and hindi na ako nag-aalala. Kasi, I was a breadwinner of my family for a long time. And pagka kasi you grow up like that, na yan automatic na yan sa isip mo. Yung responsibilidad.
Does Jeremy acknowledge that? Yung tipong, in the Philippines, kasama yung married to the family and responsibilidad natin. Kaya tayo pinagpapala yung pamilya natin kahit pagtanda natin.
Yes, he knows about that for sure. Yeah.
Good.
He's aware of that.
So yun, parang ako, tama yun parang iba yung pamilya, iba pa rin yung iba yung getting married and pagbubuo ng pamilya.
Yeah,
But you see yourself doing that eventually.
Of course, yeah, eventually. Myself doing.
And then, wala ka naman ng shelf life. Because eventually, parang feeling ko, you're relevant. Yun yung sabi ko sa'yo, the reinvention part is parang always automatic. And then, you'll always be relevant. The thing here is, is getting married there part of the plan? And that would make you more relevant, I guess, ending up with the right partner.
No, I mean, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, the thing is, I know that it's part of the plan and it's in the future, but I don't want it to define me almost.
Galing.
Parang, and I always
Ang
tell
galing.
Jeremy this. Sinabi ko sa kanya that I have a few things that I want to check off my checklist before
Like what?
I
We wanna
get
know.
married.
We wanna know. Ang
So I
ganda.
want to have my own business, like literally my own product. Kasi right now I'm an endorser of many products, but I also want to create something of my own
Anong
that I
line,
can.
Pia?
I already have something in mind, but I don't want. I
Beauty.
don't reveal.
Beauty, I guess, no?
It's there. Yes, it's there.
Yes.
Oh,
Dapat yan.
it's
Kasi
there.
you represent that. Icon ka
Yeah.
doon. So it's that. But beauty wellness, I guess. Kasi parang yung hindi yan. Okay. Well, bagay sa'yo yan. Ano pa? Oh,
Tapos
your
sinabi ko rin na I also want to have my own house first.
Okay.
Sabi ko kasi I gusto ko na, I don't know, maybe it's again because I was a breadwinner for a young age, and then you know how when you're young your dream is one day makakabili ako ng sarili kong bahay. Alam mo yun, hindi nawala yung dream ko na yun.
Dyan, yung pareho kayo ni Heidi na when you competed, you had to give up your apartment.
Yes.
Alam mo yun, yung parang nakatira siya sa tapat ng Rizal Memorial Stadium. Na tipong mawawala siya for training sa Malaysia ng matagal. So yung rent niya, sige, let go. Nung pagbalik niya dito, Pia, hindi niya alam kung saan siya titira. Yun. And,
ganun din ang feeling namin.
There's a similar experience. Diba? And I remember your story was like that. You competed and you don't know, saan ako babalik? Or the rent. Diba? Yan yung concern mo. So yan, bahay yung next. But Pia, sa lahat naman ng earnings mo, I'm sure, kaya mo naman. Pero it's a dream house that you want to build.
Yeah, and I want to be able to say it's a personal goal kasi. It's not because I don't think that he can provide it for me. It's a personal goal na gusto kong masabi na I was able to make this childhood dream happen without relying on, I mean, I hope this doesn't sound offensive to men naman. Pero gusto ko kasi na i-prove yung sarili ko na kaya ko.
Totoo naman. But it's not anything extravagant. Parang you just have to fulfill it. Okay, yeah.
Oo.
Dito
sa
or
Pilipinas.
Sa Pilipinas. Okay, I think you have a base here. And then what else? Ano pa yung kailangan i-tick off mo sa bucket list mo before getting married?
Actually, yun lang naman. Dalawa lang.
Kaya mo na yan, kapatid. Kaya mo na. And she recognizes that.
Yeah, of course. I told him this like at the beginning of our relationship pa lang. Sinabi ko na sa kanya, you know, I want to get married and I want to have a family in the future, but there's just a few things that I want to tick off first before. Yeah. And he completely understands because he's also a businessman.
Yeah.
So he understands na, and kilala niya rin ako that yung motivation ko kasi pagka may goal ako. Pagka may goal ako,
parang
dun
athlete
ako,
din yan eh. Oo focus, di ba?
Oo, focus.
Yeah.
Pagka wala kasi, parang medyo kalat ka. Gano'n, hindi mo alam kung saan mo yan yung energy.
How about him? Ano pa yung nasa bucket list niya na kailangang tapusin or ma-achieve bago to settle down? Did you ever ask?
I don't think he has think he has
So he's ready.
Yeah, he is.
So ikaw na lang. Question. Did you think about, this is very common now to couples because you're at your prime, you're pinaka-beautiful, I guess. Did you ever think of like freezing your eggs?
Oh yeah, and I was actually...
A lot of people hear that advice. Diba? Habang bata kayo, you can freeze your eggs.
I was actually asked to, hindi naman asked, but si Pauline, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me telling the story. She also, she suggested this to me nung Miss Universe pa lang ako. Oo. Tapos sinabi ko sa kanya na, girl, parang hindi ko pa carry kasi balita ko kasi pagka you take the hormones, magigain ka ng weight, kanyan. Tapos kailangan na sa Pilipinas ako for a few weeks because of the treatments and the harvesting of the egg. So I tried to do my research on it and it just didn't feel like a match during my I was living in New
During
York,
that
so I
time,
couldn't do it. Ganyan. Parang hindi rin siya match pa sa lifestyle ko, no? Na parang, paano ko pupunta dyan? Ganyan. So sabi ko na, wag na muna, may time pa naman. Ano bang, di ba 34 naman? Sabi ko gano'n sa kanya. Sabi ko, hindi, sige, pwede pa yan.
Yes.
Pero ngayon, I actually, like, funny you asked, and nobody, like, I haven't really been asked this, but, you know, I think it's a thing that women should consider, especially if iba yung priorities muna sa buhay. There's really no shame in talking about it and considering it. I haven't done it yet, but I've started to think about it na.
That's true. And if you're in your best parang self, I guess diba, the hormones or the thing, the kid will feel that. Diba? It's a preservation of that moment when you feel you're at your best. Diba?
Yeah.
So I think that, no? And other preparations, kasi ang ganda lang, Pia, that you can look back at things na wala ka ng bagahe, hindi mabigat. Things are just flowing with you well now. So, parang kung life plan, kasi makukuha mo naman yung bahay anytime you want it. Kung if you focus on something, nakukuha mo, nagagawa mo. And then the next one, kung ano yon, the business, kaya naman. Although ngayon yung mga businesses kailangan nakapark lang kasi pandemic, di ba? So, siguro, mapapaganda mo pa yung packaging.
Yun na nga, I've been working on it, pero laging nadidelay, laging napupush back, ganyan. Kasi, alam mo yung magkaka-progress ka ng konti, tapos matitigil na naman. Tapos, parang you look at the world outside and you wonder, is this even the right time to launch a new product? You know what I mean? Like, that self-doubt. And I guess it's because I'm a unexperienced entrepreneur.
Tama rin. But you have a partner who is, no? So at least, yung parang pwede kayong mag-compliment doon. But when you have a life together, you see yourself settling here or you'll be moving from one place to another? Kasi nga, OFW, feel mo na yung pagiging OFW.
It looks like I'll be the one flying back and forth because sa work niya, hindi talaga posible na dito nakabase sa Philippines dahil ang offices ng beautiful destinations ay nakabase sa New York. So ang oras natin is 12 hours ang time difference sa New York. So ang 9 a.m. natin dito, 9 p.m. sa kanila, it would be almost impossible for him to run his business from the Philippines. So mukhang magiging UAE-based siya. I mean, for now, as of now, things are always changing naman because of the pandemic. So ako na lang muna yung...
Grabe rin yung sacrifice mo for love, no? Pero you're willing to take that sacrifice. Oh, that's very little sacrifice. So wala na yung mga infidelity problems. Wala na yung mga ganon. The trust is there, absolutely. Kasi parang wala na yun. Di ba? Parang nag-gloss over niya na yan because you've seen your best and your worst already and it's acceptance. Kasi Pia, I pray na sana ito na yung last.
Naku, thank you.
Pero di ba pinagdadasal yun? Na tipong, I think it has given you your peace and your security and your best self. At least. Do you feel that? Wala ka ng pinch of doubt. Kasi what will hold you is just one pinch of doubt.
Wala namang doubt. I think I'm just trying to be grateful of the things that I have now and to enjoy it and give back as much as I can. Ang big question ko ngayon is every time I do a certain project or every time I try to anything, kahit anong project pa yan, I always think, anong value yung nabibigay ko sa ibang tao when they see this, when they watch this, when they read this message, this caption. I always think, am I being helpful to anyone or alam mo yun, it's so I don't know, is it the age or the pandemic effect?
Adult ka na adulting na to na parang and it's not about you, it's really more using your platform really well and less kang pakabig, it's really more papalabas, no? So less and less proving yourself but more and more parang inviting the goodness or parang mas marami kang nabibigay na kabutihan sa iba and it feels better.
Bumabalik din kasi.
Totoo rin naman.
Bumabalik eh. Oo, ang sarap ng feeling. Parang ang sarap ng feeling. Tapos, pagka grateful ka lang palagi. Tapos, and one more thing that I learned also is that to be really vocal about how grateful you are. Hindi yung parang, grateful naman ako. Yung gaganong ka lang, pero hindi ka nag-express ng pagka-grateful mo. Para sa akin kasi
Galing.
it doesn't cost anything to say thank you. It doesn't cost anything to thank the people who've helped you along the way, who were there when you were nothing pa. To the people who still follow me 6 years later after Miss Universe. Like, I'm so grateful for all of it. Like,
Totoo yan.
thank you lang ako ng thank you talaga sa mga tao.
Totoo yan. Hindi pong parang, wala namang mawawala sa inyo eh. After mong gawin yon. So, being grateful is something else. And, well, you don't miss show business. Meron ka pang ganong goal? Kasi, I'm surprised. You didn't, wala na sa bucket list mo yung to really make a good movie. Parang walang ganon. Or to really host something. Because parang hindi yun. No? It's really not anymore an outward sign. And for people, yung validation ng mga tao, hindi na yon.
Hindi na. Parang nagbago na rin talaga.
Adulting.
Oo, parang real life na. And also one more thing that I realized, there are a lot of beauty queens and a lot of celebrities who will choose other ventures in life. And it doesn't mean, other paths. And it doesn't mean, dahil hindi na natin sila nakikita sa TV, is unsuccessful sila. Malay natin na merong business yan, merong mga ibang ginagawa yan sa buhay na successful sila doon.
Family life is success.
Yes, of course.
Diba? Yeah.
Kasi I think, and even I was also, when I was younger, I was also stuck in that idea na to be successful, kailangan sikat ka. At nakikita ka palagi sa TV. Tapos pag hindi mo na nagawa yun, ibig sabihin, you failed at that. Pero na-realize ko ngayon na ang daming mga beauty queen, mga artista that are beyond what, what they share, beyond what you see. So, para sa akin,
galing.
I'm not closing my doors and saying I'll never host a TV show again. Of course, if there's a project that I love.
Something that matters. Nasasabi ko gano'n, no? May madadagdag ba ito dun sa gusto kong i-convey and gusto kong i-represent, dapat yun na yata yung batayan. It's not anymore bread trip, di ba? Yun eh. Ang ganda lang, Pia, kasi yun na yung mga batayan na pwede parang you're more, not naman picky, but then you have reason why you do things beyond yourself. Next one, do you see yourself parang influencing more people with the power of women now? I'm going to the elections. We're having another elections, and then people look to women leaders. And then if you notice, the countries that were managed really well during the pandemic are women, are the ones run by women. Why so? Why do you think so?
Wow, parang pageant.
Ang galing mo dyan, pero yun, parang what's in it about women na kaya nyong i-handle yung pandemic better? Di ba mas na-explain ng New Zealand? Yung mga ganyan, di ba? Yung sa ibang countries na nagagawa nilang ipaintindi sa mga tao yung mga ginagawa nila more.
Tingin ko, mas empath kasi yung mga babae. Mas may... Hindi ko naman sinasabing wala yung mga men. Pero mas merong nakakaramdam, nakaka-absorb. Para tayong mga sponge. Nakaka-absorb tayo ng ibang, hindi lang tayo nagsisympathize, like we empathize with other people. And I think women are really good at multitasking. That's why siguro kahit na maraming nangyayari, 100 things are happening at one time, parang kaya pa rin. And
kasi ikaw yung sabi mo, you're a planner, di ba? In your relationship, ikaw yung taga-plano, kunyari, saan kayo kakain, saan kayo mag-travel.
Actually, hindi nga. So, in my relationship, I'm not. He is. Because I've been like this with the rest of my life. In my relationship, I just let him, ikaw na. Ayoko na mag-isip. Ganon.
Pero di ba, naramdaman mo yon na yung babae yung nagpaplano. Then that gives you that power also. Ang galing. So parang yun nga, parang you manage a system or a country the way you manage your life, your family. Di ba? Ganon yung consistency nun. Yun, parang
Yeah.
I'm in awe. I'm in awe with women who systematically plans things.
Mhm.
Who can do
Siguro women
multitasking.
are able to foresee
Yes.
like
Yes.
possibilities, good
Yes.
and bad.
Yes. And
Yeah.
acknowledge them, no? Parang
And
ako yung at
acknowledge
nasasabi mo, yung mga guys kasi hindi nila outrightly nasasabi agad or masakit sa ego pag sinabing nag-fail. The women kasi
Oo,
can say,
nagkamali.
oo, nagkamali ako eh.
Tsaka
Pero
ano
are you
din,
like that? Are you like that?
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, I've always been really, like parang,
Honest.
yeah. And you know what? One more thing is that I think women kasi, parang we're not afraid to step back when we have to.
Yes.
So parang hindi kailangan laging palaban.
Yes.
Alam mo yon? Parang
Alam niyo paano mag-farm.
Yes, alam mo yung parang,
Oo.
sige, turn mo naman, tapos tsaka ako, parang marunong mag-navigate.
Ang
Ganon.
galing. Ito yung tanong ko, kasi yung kanina we were talking about the situation of the Philippines. Are you drawn to strong leaders still? Yung tipong, parang in a relationship, do you still look for a strong man or you want your man to be at least more understanding of how you feel also?
Parang what I look for now is somebody who has the same values and is vocal about it. Tapos ganun na lang eh. Parang the thing with voting and with the elections is that we all have to do our own research.
That's true.
Parang kailangan hindi na pwede na kung sino yung binoto ng pamilya mo, yun ka din.
Or sino dinikta ng employer mo, di ba? Ganun talaga dito. Yeah.
Parang kailangan yung responsibility natin this time is to really do our own homework, do our own background checks on the people, and then make your own decision. This will be my first time voting actually. Kasi hindi ako registered voter before. So, tapos ito pa nga yung nangyari because nga, I came from the UAE, tapos hindi ko pa, diba bawal yung mga flights from the UAE to the Philippines for a long time.
Quarantine.
Mga 2 months yata yun eh. Parang nung isang araw lang yata na-lift yung ban na yun. Pero matagal. So, hindi ko alam kung kailan ako makakauwi ng Pilipinas talaga. And in-anticipate ko din na baka masali yung Turkey kung saan ako galing bago ko punta ng Manila. In-anticipate ko na baka masama sa red list yung Turkey.
Yes.
Kasi ano lang naman ako eh.
But you're vaccinated.
Yeah.
Vaccinated at least, no? Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, while I was in Abu Dhabi, sabi ko, sige magre-register na ako dito.
Galing.
Dito na. Kasi pagka hinintay ko pa, baka hindi ko na maabutan yung cut-off, yung deadline sa Pilipinas. Kasi hindi ko rin alam kailan ako makakauwi. But I understood that it meant I have to go back to Abu Dhabi to vote.
OFW ka na talaga.
Alam mo
mo talaga. No, but at least you realize your responsibility as a citizen. At least,
pero ano yun, it was like a parang promise that I was willing to keep and make and keep na sabi ko, I can't miss this opportunity to vote. Like, parang this is gonna be my first time and if I'm not gonna be able to do it in Manila, fine, I'll do it in Abu Dhabi. I'll come back here just to vote. Since nandito rin naman si Kuya, sige, dito na. Balik ako.
Ang galing. So just inspire people na to fulfill their citizen duties, no? Parang, Pia, kumusta yung pandemic response dun sa pinanggalingan ng bansa and what can we learn from that? Nagmamask kayo doon?
May mask doon, yes. Okay. Pero walang face shield.
Ayan, tayo na lang yata yung gumagamit mo.
Oo, tayo na lang yata yung face shield.
Are they
pero
vaccinated? They're vaccinated?
They're vaccinated. Kasi ako, sometimes I talk to the Filipinos also that work in the hotels or the restaurants. Yeah. Tapos, actually, ang saya nilang kausap. Kasi pagka you get them to open up, nagkukwento talaga sila na dito vaccinated kami 3 times na pa nga 3 times na silang vaccinated. I haven't met a Filipino that wasn't vaccinated yet doon. Tapos efficient sila kasi meron silang parang app, yung Al Hossein na app. Tapos merong QR code doon na every time you walk into an establishment, you scan that and everybody needs one. Kasi hindi ka makakagalaw sa city pagka wala ka nun. And the thing is, parang meron siyang color. So pagka green siya, ibig sabihin, kaka-PCR test mo lang. Ineffective yung PCR test mo for, I think, 1 or 2 weeks. I could be wrong, mga ganun. And then, magre-red yun pagka kailangan mo na magpa-test ulit. So parang you're buying freedom. Ganyan, kailangan magpa-test ka na magpa-test consistently. And so I think yung track and tracing nila is good. Although may Delta din sila. Pero when I last checked the numbers, I hope I'm not wrong, mas mataas pa rin tayo, unfortunately.
Kasi may booster shots na sila, P. Sabi mo ka, di ba may third shot na yung mga tao?
At may options pa.
Ayun yun eh. At saka ito, hindi bukas yung industries. Di ba? Bukas sila. So pwede ka makapagpakat ng hair o makapagpasalon anytime you want. So, dito sarado yung mga industries, pati gym. So, galit na galit ka siguro doon kung nagsara yung mga gym, no? So, well, it's that, no? Nasabi mo na yung mga learnings mo nung pandemic. Ano pa? Was there a skill that you acquired? A new skill that you learned aside from podcasting? Ano pa?
Some skills that I acquired. I guess
Tita, hindi.
Nag-attempt ako. Meron akong mga halaman sa bahay.
May nabuhay ka ba, kapatid?
May mga namatay din. So, may mga nabuhay, may mga
But it's
namatay.
good when you are into food, parang yung ibang mga tao, di ba, farm to table?
Yeah.
Yeah, yun. Baka, but it's your partner that tells you.
Ano din kasi, dito sa Pilipinas, sa condo ako nakatira. So, wala din ako masyadong space para magtanim talaga. May corner lang kami sa may balcony, ganun lang. Pero, ano ba mga natutunan ko? Siguro mas naging ko, as a person, I grew as a person in a way that I became more awake. Parang, I became more aware of the things that are happening around me. Kasi imagine like,
kaya ka
work was
mental
taken
health.
away.
Kaya ka nakaka-mental health issues. Kasi totoo, when you watch the news, nakaka-anxious naman talaga.
Oo, nakaka-anxious. Kaya hindi rin ako masyadong nagbababad sa TV kasi basta alam ko na yung mga kailangan kong malaman, ayoko nang paulit-ulit ko siyang naririnig kasi may effect yan eh.
Oh, that's true.
May effect. So parang do yourself a favor and if you feel like you need a break from it,
and be more productive, no?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yesterday I was thinking like parang the best way, I mean not the best, but one way to beat this parang anxiety is to lurk less but create more. Inimbento ko lang yun. Oo, yung parang hindi yung nagbababad ka lang sa TV, babad ka sa social media, create more, like put those screens down and actually do things.
Totoo yun. Parang instead of like giving comments, when you create, kahit after the pandemic, you look back at it, parang, nagawa ko to. May sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, oo. I mean, I'm sure you've also started like hobbies, right?
No, indeed, when you started writing, when you write letters even, people can like preserve those letters. And really, so kahit thank you notes, Pia, yung what you're thankful for every day, since yan, it becomes an attitude, di ba? When you write those things, when you come back, you feel better. You really feel better, no? So, pero ang kailangan kung sabihin si Rika, dikdikin ka na kumuha ng farm. It's really being attuned to a land. Kasi mahirap yung condo. That's one thing, no? A learning, parang thing during the pandemic, ang hirap na ma-stock sa condo.
I'm so happy that you mentioned this because I've actually been thinking about this for a few months already. Nasabi ko, I mean, wouldn't it be so nice to just grow your own food and to have space?
That's true.
You know?
Ako, isasama ka namin. We found this kami ni Heidi. We were dito tayo sa on-air na gano'n. Hala-hala in Rizal. It's the last city by the lake, Pia. So parang, you know of Agot Isidro, some of our friends harvesting rambutan already. Yung tipong in the end, it's really being attuned to the land. And yun, parang meron kang appreciation of like growing things and creating things. Yun yata. And after condo living, I guess yun yung challenge talaga.
Yeah. Oo.
So, it's
So,
adulting.
ano yung kita
34.
dyan? I'll message you about that.
Sige, no, habang mura pa. Habang mura.
Yung
Pero hindi,
nga.
no, I think it's that. Parang it's acquiring something and then, yun nga, yung creating, tilling the land and creating more. And it's nature. It's all your advocacy, I guess. Parang in the end, it's feeling God's goodness and then mas madali kang mag-thank you kasi nature yung kasama mo. Kasi
And alam mo,
nakakabait.
before din kasi, I really try to avoid living too far away from the city. Kasi kasi ang thinking natin is, andito yung work ko, I have to be
That's
close
true.
to work. Pero
That's
nowadays, that's all changed. Like, people
Galing.
wanna be out, they wanna be...
Talaga yung if you're serious about development, we're so concentrated in the city. And now during the pandemic, look, the pandemic is concentrated on the city. So now we look for spaces when we can create jobs even outside. And then hindi man na ayaw naman natin din yung Manila din yung amenities, di ba? Pumunta ka pa sa probinsya, mas Manila. Swerte mo nga, you can talk about meron kayong probinsya. Pity those people now na wala silang, di ba, may summer experience, nagpunta kami sa probinsya. Ang ganda kayang ng probinsya.
Oo, as in, kasi dati, di ba, parang hindi masyadong napag-uusapan yun. Pero ngayon, yung mga pinsan ko, yun na umuwi sa probinsya, as in, parang tinitingnan ko yung mga pictures sila, sabi ko, grabe, ang saya.
Totoo. And now, those are little spaces when we can be happy. And then, feeling ko mas tumatagal. Mas matuwatagal. So, well, not na yung condo life. Condo living is practical. But in the end, if you see longevity, like your career is, like your love will be, parang it's that. In the end, kung yun na yung themes ng buhay mo, na, wala nang, may complications man, hindi ka na ma-shaken. Hindi ka na shaken.
Yeah.
Ang galing.
Si Heidelin pala naghahanap din.
Oo, yun na nga. Yung tipong, it's really, kasi, naman, tama naman na yung winnings. Alam mo yung plano sa kanya, yung sinasabi sa kanya, advice, lahat ng winnings mo, i-divide mo sa 3 pinakamalalaking bangko and let them grow the money and we see, magko-compete kasi yung 3 banks na yan, di ba, to be the one. Pero, it's different also when you put it in a farm or in lots, that you can eventually develop and have ownership. Yung feeling mo affinity. Kasi homeowners association yung nagde-develop ng condo, di ba? Pero pag farm mo, ikaw na yon eh. So yung goal mo na bahay, yun siguro isa yon na tipong you will till something create. Yun nga, yung team mo ngayon to create something. Ang ganda. Well, Pia, other hopes you're turning, yun nga, 32. Hopes for yourself, nasabi mo na. Hopes for our country. Anything na parang in our community now that you're back to the Philippines after being OFW for how long?
I was away, this time, 2 months lang naman.
2 months.
This
Pero
time.
Eventually, di ba, parang mga 6 months may be a reality for you, no?
Yeah. Of course,
ramdam mo yung feeling ng mga nasa ibang bansa ng mga Pilipino, no? The anxiety also being far from your work and loved ones.
Yeah, the anxiety also na ayaw nilang umuwi kasi mauubos yung araw nila na bakasyon sa quarantine. Tapos minsan wala pang flights. So talagang hindi sila makauwi, iniipon na lang nila yung mga yung mga vacation days, ganyan. Like alam mo, like now that you mentioned that, I admit that whenever I'm with Jeremy and we're traveling, somehow I forget about the problems that are there. Pero of course I keep myself updated. And when I came back here, iba pa rin kasi pagka yung talagang andito ka na at nararamdaman mo.
That's
like
true.
and honestly, like it's
yung wanting to help kasi feeling mo talaga, ang galing ng Pinoy, ang galing nilang mag-adjust. Kaya pa nila
we deserve better.
Naawa sinabi mo yan.
Naawa ako sa mga
walang choice.
Natin.
Yung walang choice. Pero hindi naman totoong walang choice. Kaya,
hindi totoong walang choice. Alam mo yung parang naaawa na parang it's so like you have a feeling na overwhelming, like parang you wish you could help everyone, we
deserve better.
Yeah.
We deserve better. And part of it really, in the end, Pia, tayo magtutulungan. We parang we strengthen each other. We help each other. Kasi parang we're so divided now. We're so divided. And the task now, parang yung first interview ko, is to look for spaces where we can help and complement. And ito talaga, bring out naman the goodness in people. Kasi during crisis, dun mo naman natitest yung buti, yung kabutihan ng mga tao. Kaya pagbalik mo dito, makikita mo, ang bait pa rin ng Pinoy, no? But you know, as a good people, we deserve better.
Totoo. Tama ka dyan. That's my wish. Kung yun na lang ang magiging wish ko, I wish that we could, that things could become better.
And we make people's lives better.
We make people's lives better. And situations like this, as you mentioned, they test us. But it's also so easy, like when you're angry and frustrated at things, to just attack each other. Tas walang progress, mas nada-damage patuloy.
Kaya babalik dun sa sinabi mo, you should create. We should create.
Yeah.
More than being passive and being overwhelmed and eaten by yung anger. It's that, I guess. So happy birthday and happy adulting. Really, we never thought it would pass by like this, but it's really feeling good about ourselves. And well, tama ka, yung the theme now is, we deserve better. And we should help each other to have that life that we deserve. Yun yung ano. Thank you, Pia. This is such
Thank you din so much. Yes, I really enjoyed this, and I hope makapagchikahan tayo in person soon.
Yes. And ako yung tipong less off, yun na nga parang expectations or papatunayan yung sarili. You don't have to, because you have made an indelible mark already in the country. Now, you can effect more changes by just being happy. At least at this point, fulfill your happiness, because grabe, alam ko yung pinagdaanan mo. Oo din, parang ang daming challenges, but in the end, it's resolving that your best weapon is a good work. Your best proof is always a good life and a happy life. That ako, yun talaga, yun yung positive vibes lang. Alam ko na mismo yung bansa, and I get that feeling talaga, pagbalik mo dito, yung mga Pinoy, tama ka. Alam mo yung pagbalik ni Heidelin, yung quarantine, yung mga servidor sa hotel, sa quarantine hotel, sinabi, ma'am, ECQ na naman, 4 na araw lang kami for a month. Magtrabaho and no work, no pay. Kapatid, nagdugo talaga yung puso niya, give. Kaya we're kinder now to yung mga nagde-deliver ng pagkain.
Oo naman.
Yung mga ganyan, di ba parang we acknowledge that sila yung arawan, sila yung nagre-risk ng lives nila during the pandemic. At yun yung isang team din siguro, P, parang the lifestyle change. Because we're in this situation, we have these advocacies, ang demand talaga sa atin, parang, parang we be kinder, we take care of each other more. And really, that's adulting. You don't think of yourself too much na. It's really more for others.
Yeah, I think it also taught us na pare-pareho tayong may pinagdadaanan. Tao tayong lahat. Walang artista dito, walang sikat dito. Lahat tayo apektado dito. And it just made all of us human, you know?
Totoo. And then back to purpose. Yun nga parang ang ganda, no? Every time there's a project, anong purpose ito? How can it make me a better person? Yung checklist mo na tipong, okay, will it make me a better person? Yes. Anong contribution nito sa akin? Hindi na nga lang sa bankbook hindi lang sa pera, kundi ano yung pagpupush nito dun sa kabutihan ko bilang tao. Yun na yun. Yes, ang sarap lang i-embrace yung adulting kung ganun yung pinag-iisipan. Pero iba lang yung environment now kasi pandemic. But then the best of people come out during challenges like this. And yun yung maganda sa inyo ni Heidelin. Parang you survived and excelled. And parang binuhat-buhat niyo yung bansa natin. Well, despite all the challenges. And we're proud of you, Pia. And you know that. Muntik na kitang maging talent-in-law kasi na-link-link ka kay Atom. Pero Pero
Yun pala si Ato.
Oo, magkasama tayo sa Uniqlo. Remember nung launch na meron pang mga
Yes.
Japanese dito na
Yes,
pumunta pa
yes.
dito sa launch. At tipong sabi ko, similar values of excellence and goodwill. Pero in the end, feeling ko talaga, you're happiest now. And feeling ko, now with everything that we've talked about, ang sarap lang kasi wala ka na kailangang patunayan, T. You're set. All you have to do is to fulfill your dreams. Kung dalawa na lang yon, yung product mo at yung bahay mo, susuportahan ka namin so that you can move on and help other people. I bet you will create jobs and there'll be more, marami pang beneficiaries of your goodness.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Maraming salamat. This was parang sabi ko kay Rika, wala lang, mag-uusap lang kami ng ganito. Parang it's different, no? When people just wait for sound bites. Pag sa TV kasi, meron kayong nakaprogram na pag-uusapan. But this one, it was a real honest to goodness talk that we should be doing also more often.
Yeah, and Miss Rika already gave me a heads up that this would be such an easy flow of conversation. She also spoke very highly of you and sobrang matagal na daw kayong magkaibigan at super
naman. Oo naman kapatid, kaya even yung paghahanap mo ng farm, let's go.
Ay, thank you so much. Sabihin ko sa kanya.
Habang mura pa, and then eventually just build one community that will be all happy with, at saka yung tipong magbibigayan tayo ng ulam pagtanda.
Oo, yun ang dream, di ba?
But you cook ba? Do you cook?
Yes, I do.
Yes, kasi nga yun solo living at sanay ka.
Yeah, and when I was 19, I studied culinary and then I stopped.
Yes. Endorsements come more para you can share. Yun pala yung other side of you that you can show.
Yeah. Hindi ko pa nailalabas yun hindi ko pa natutodo yun. I put it on hold kasi nahirapan ako to balance cooking and then pageants kasi parang nagko-kontra sila.
Pero yun na nga, kung yung food security at food, di ba? Yung
of course.
Mo, ay, ang galing. So there are more things you can show. You're really the queen of reinvention.
Thank you. Thank you. May mga baon pa pala.
Sabi nga ni Rika, pwedeng may pasabog. Sabi ko gano'n, less na yata tayo sa pasabog. Yung mas kalma tayo, di ba? Parang it will, our projects or the things that we do will just speak of our goodness. Yun yata yung yung masaya lang, in the end, yung masaya lang, Pia. And when you turn 32, yun lang, yung masaya lang at masasabi mong, oo nga, masaya ko. So when people ask you, kumusta ka, Pia? Happy yung when you say, okay, hindi okay lang masaya ka. I think you're at that point now.
Yes, I am.
From that place when you're happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you. I'll see you again and then yun. Sana nga magkasama tayo sa isang community soon.
Oo naman. I'll message also Miss Rika and we can chat again because I really enjoyed this conversation and I also learned from
Salamat. And then the podcast is when again?
Yes, so the podcast is exclusively on Spotify and we launch a new episode every Friday. So since Friday ngayon, ang bago naming guest ay si Izzy Bonifacio. Nakakatawa tong episode na to kasi kino-compare namin yung Gen Z and Millennials at yung differences nila sa mindset and sa lingo. Tapos so tinanong namin si Izzy, alam mo ba yung Friendster? Alam mo ba yung mga patesti sa Friendster? Hindi niya alam.
Naging dated na kayo, pero pwede kanyang turuan ng pagsasayaw ng major.
Yes. Ganun naman. Tapos tinuruan naman din niya kami ng mga Gen Z na terminologies, ganyan. So, fun episode lang siya, ganun, this week.
So yung challenge, more sponsors for Pia, lalo na when you get to food. Lalo na if you cook, kasi pwede pala yon. At magaling ka. Happy birthday!
Thank you!
I enjoyed this. Thank you very much, Pia.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you sa lahat ng mga nakikinig ngayon. Maraming salamat. Thank you.
Welcome back and happy birthday. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for leveling up with us. We'll see you again next week. Dito lang po sa Radyo-Katipunan. Thank you, P.
Thank you.
Saya.
gawin mo na. Level up, lumilipad. Level up, hanggang ulan. Level up, tumitingkad. Level up, matutupad. Go nang go nang go nang go nang go nang go lang go. Go nang go nang go nang go nang go nang go lang go.
Di kailanman mapipigilan pagbuhos ng ulan. Ang buhay sadyang ganyan.
At kaya ng pabago-bagong pag-ihip ng hangin. Lahat ay lilipas at magsasalita.
Huwag kang mabahala, huwag mataranta. Hindi kailangan ang mag-alilangan pa.
Isipin mo laging nandito lamang ang aking balikat, sa'yo'y nakaabang.
Asahan mo, hindi ka iiwan sa mundo. Lahat may hangganan, asahan mo. Wala nang atrasan sa iyong bawat hakbang na pupuntahan.
Pangako kailanman, agad akong nandyan.
Sang tawag mo
At tuwing nagdidilim ang langit, di ba't nagpapakita ang buwan hanggang mag-umaga na naman.
Tara't hintayin na natin
Sikat ng iyong araw
hanggang sa magliwanag muli ang lahat. Asahan mo, hindi ka iiwan sa mundo. Lahat may hangganan, asahan mo. Wala nang atrasan sa iyong bawat hakbang na pupuntahan.
Pangako kailanman, agad akong nandyan.
Sang tawag mo asahan mo, hindi ka iiwan sa mundo. Lahat may hangganan, asahan mo. Wala nang atrasan sa iyong bawat hakbang na pupuntahan.
Pangako kailanman, agad akong nandyan.
Sang tawag mo sang tawag mo
Mga Katipuneros, it's time to level up! Your top variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields. As we feature the most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. Together with multi-awarded multimedia guru Mr. Noel Ferrer, let's all level up every Fridays from 3 to 6 p.m. here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo